Welcome to Their Side. We've got a great episode in store for you today. Their Side is a interview series based around skateboarders' stories, and we're hearing it directly from them, the people that lived it. So we're lucky enough that we have got a couple of sponsors on board to help out with the putting together this show. We've got a bunch of team behind us here looking after things. So one of those is Gauge Road Breweries, who look after Single Fin, is a fantastic little brew. Goliath, we're shooting in the wonderful Goliath skate shop at the back corner of the skate shop, and we love Pete for his support of Their Side as well. You can also support Their Side via Fundraiser, which is Fundraiser, R-A-Z-R. That is how they've spelt that. / whatever, Their Side, and you'll find us on there, and you can donate small amounts, large amounts, whatever, but it all goes towards getting this thing up and running every week. And if you knew how much work goes in behind the scenes, you would really appreciate that that stuff goes a long way, every little dollar that you're able to share with us. We've got a fantastic guest on today. It's one of those interviews that I've been looking forward to for a long time. It's someone that I've known for many years from afar, so to speak, and to be able to sit down and have a chat with this person is going to be a really good opportunity to get an insight into really what makes this person who he is. And I have to say, the story's got ups, it's got downs, it's got everything in between. Hold on, fellas, this one's going to be a big one. So without further ado, welcome Junior Pene. How are you?
Yeah, thanks, Dean. Yeah, well, thanks, man. Thank you for having me along.
We have got Will Stoyles here again as well. We'll bring you in this week, Will.
When I heard Junior was on the interviewees, Junior actually called me up and said he'd like me to come down and ask a few questions, and I was honoured to be actually asked to be a part of Junior's story. So yeah, awesome. I'm stoked to be here. And Junior, glad to see you, bro. We don't get to see you enough because you live on the other side of the river, so welcome to this side of the river.
Yeah, thanks, Will. You and I have shared some pretty interesting times over the years, man.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
multiple locations. It'd be good to revisit some of those and show how we've come out the other end.
Yeah, man, definitely. Awesome. Hell yeah.
So as a bit of a preparation, we always touch base with our interviewees and ask for a bit of information. Junior was kind enough. He's got a fair bit out in the press already. We've seen a few things, articles in magazines and things like that. But he also sent a bit of a summary of his, I suppose, a timeline of his life. So it's pretty detailed. Let's get stuck into it. So we'll start with page 1 here, mate.
Yeah.
It's so good to have you here. But one thing you did recently was you're 43 for 43. So 43 years old. You're looking pretty young, actually. So well done for that.
Yeah, well pickled.
Yeah, well pickled, eh? I haven't done a 43 or 46 for 46, whatever version I'm up to. But tell us, how did you come about picking your 43 tricks?
There was time restrictions, but there's also skill ability, my skill aside. I didn't really have much of a choice, dude. That was the only tricks I could land. I wrote.
Did you get to like 40 and think, fuck, how do I get 3 more?
Well, I had the most ambitious list. Like I saw Tony Hawk's 50 tricks for 50. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, it's incredible. Like every trick was a hammer. And I'd seen other people skate your age clips, and some of them were complete filler tricks, ollie, 180 slide. I just didn't really want to bore people with that. So, yeah, look, I decided to take a month and just film as much stuff in it. I guess I'm still 42 and 11 months old, so I'm still skating my age. So, yeah, I probably broke the rules for whatever skate your age. I think some people do it in a day. I know Hawk did his over a period of weeks, and he had people get off the ramp and wore the same clothes.
He's allowed to do whatever he wants.
Well, he certainly is.
Paid his dues.
I'm definitely nothing against him, but I don't have the time to do that.
Even though you may not have, you didn't do hammers the whole time in all your tricks, but what it portrayed to me was it was a great summary of you as a skater. There were some good tricks in there, some fun tricks in there, some casual tricks, and it was a great little snapshot of you and what skating is to you. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, man. 90s dance moves, coping dance moves, I had those on lock, so I knew I could get those ones out of the way pretty quickly.
I thought you hung up on that rock fakie.
It looked like a mistake. Yeah.
That's a trick.
Majority of them.
But when you're writing that list, did you find that you wrote tricks that you maybe wanted to try, and then but, you know, it's good. I think it's a good for when I did it too. I wrote a lot of tricks that I probably wasn't going to do, but it was good to know that you've got them there so that you can think about it. Did it help you, like having a list of tricks? Like, how many do you think you had on the list? Yeah,
it absolutely did, man. I had locations, I had tricks, and I had wish list of tricks. Yeah. But halfway through filming, like I came off the rail at the front board and broke my rib. I didn't get it X-rayed, but I know it was broken because I could feel it. And so I had to film the rest of them with that injury. But I don't know if you've broken like a back rib, but it's actually not so bad, man. I've broken like 6 ribs in the front, and they're really painful. You can't breathe. Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you break 6 ribs?
Not in one slam. This is over a period of 30 odd years, man. But I've just broken ribs. And
just picking them one at a time.
Just fall on this one. But I filmed the rest with a broken rib, and so that limited the amount of tries I could have at tricks, and my confidence too was pretty low. But I was happy with it in the end, you know.
Man, I'm stoked every time someone does that, and especially to see you do it, man. It was rad to see, and you know, like I remember trying to call you a few times or text you, and you're like, "Nah, man, too busy. Like I'm trying to trick now," or I think you sent me a clip of you doing the front board or something like that.
That's the trick. That's the one where I broke.
And I was like, "Oh man, like I can do that trick pretty well. I'd love to give you some tips on it. Let me come skate with you, you know, like." But being that,
did I knock you back? Did I tell you don't come?
Yeah,
I did, because I just.
You're going to do skate coach on him?
Because it's too embarrassing. It's embarrassing having people there just watch you fall. You know, it's like, I don't want to bore people, man. Don't come skate, dude.
It's in terms of it's geeing you up. You know, like all I wanted to be was moral support. You know, I'm not going to be like, hey man, do it like this. You're doing it wrong. I just wanted to be like, yeah, sick Junior, like you got this, you know, like, and sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Though.
Thanks, Stoyles. I do appreciate it. But your clip actually inspired me a lot, man. Like, there's some real hammers in that one too.
He only had to do 40 though.
Yeah.
3 less is pretty. It makes it easy, doesn't it?
It's boards of flipping and stuff, and that to me is.
I think that was an accident too, wasn't it?
Counts for 2, cracky.
And I did do it in one day, but you know, like who's counting? So, but I'm not trying to say like Junior's rad. Like fucking, you do a lot of rad skating, and you've been skating for ages. So like I respect that. How much time you put into skating as a person, and you're always skating. Like as one person I've known throughout the journey, it's been you've always been a skater, you know, and you've always been going on missions, you know, and you know all the time. So that's rad. So
yeah, it's been my lifeline, man. Just hanging on to the skate scene. You know, even times that I haven't been skating a lot, I could just still go down and hang out at the ramp and drink, even if I've been injured, you know. So
so even when you weren't skating, you were still a skateboarder.
Oh, I have to. Like, for me, I hold skateboarding so dear to my heart. Like, if I let it go, then I know, like, it's curtains for me, man. Like, I just get lost in the world. So, yeah, for sure. Thanks for saying that, Stoyles.
No, skateboarding is such a strong thing like that. It's more than just the tricks, and we've said this on previous episodes as well. It's fantastic how much of an influence it can have, and it's just see people doing it for as long as we all have. It shows just how strong it can be as a motivator. Now you've got a bit of an accent, so obviously you're.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I? That's funny.
That's not just from the other side of the river, is it? That's a bit further than.
It's funny to say that because when I used to call my mum, right, I always thought that I sounded like a New Zealander, but she'd be like, "Oh boy, you sound like the crocodile hunter." Do I, man? It's true. Like, do I really? Damn, dude. You know, when I lived in New Zealand, I'd hear the Australian accent, and it always just sounded so amazing. Bang, dang, g'day, like cracking, you know what I mean, like that. And so I just like, fuck, I never want to talk like that. And here I am. But one thing I'll never do is say H. You know, you pronounce H.
H. Yeah.
You know, H.
H.
What is that?
I don't know. That's just
It's the weirdest shit.
Aussie thing, Did you when did you actually start skating though? Did you start skating in New Zealand?
Yeah, I did. So I started I got my first skateboard Christmas Day 1986.
How old were you then?
10. But look, I had a bit of a wait. This was during the 80s skate boom. A lot of bright colours and the late 80s, and so my friends had skateboards, but I'd been BMXing before then, BMX Bandits and Rad.
Rad.
They had a big influence on me, and so
I remember that era
BMX
too.
a lot and played cricket and rugby. But I used to get like secondhand BMX magazines from this used bookstore, and there was one that I bought and it had half BMX, half skate. And in that magazine, it was the first time I'd seen like people doing airs on a skateboard. it was an interview with Mick Mulhall, who later became friends with Mick. You know, like, and he was.
Where was the magazine from? Was it?
It was
Australian
like,
or?
I don't know. Like, it was half BMX, half skate. And so at the back of the magazine, there was another guy in there too called Warren Archer.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, like I think he might have been Sydney. They were skating,
Sydney guys,
skating Mona Vale, but
yeah.
like they had a one-page interview. I remember reading that very clearly and thinking like, man, that's rad. And then at the back of the magazine had like the shop ads, and it had like the boards set out, and reading some of the names like Hawk, Mountain, Star. Is this shit made up? Like, is
yeah,
it really
it sounds like
names
that, doesn't it? Like
yeah.
Tony Hawk couldn't have put a better name on
a book.
Yeah,
But all of that was fascinating to me, dude. And then around that time as well, I saw the video clip for Possessed to Skate. You know, Suicidal Tendencies. Like, we used to have this alternative music telly show called Radio Pictures, and they played that. I don't know if you've seen the video clip, but on the video clip, it's like a preppy type of kid, and his parents leave him home alone, and they split. And then as soon as they're gone, you know, the whole house just erupts into a party, and they're jumping on the couch, and they're skating in the back of the pool, and they're playing like this rock music, and that whole scene that appealed to me, man, like heaps. And,
so you didn't have like have you got brothers or anything? Or?
Yeah, I've got a brother and a sister.
Did any of them skate before you and give you a bit of inspiration towards it, or you just found it yourself through this sort of stuff?
Yeah, look, we were always pretty independent, man. Like at that time it was weird. Like I kind of just remember being left to my own devices. Just go out on my BMX and just come back home in the evening go for hours and just get up to adventures, you know. But no, they didn't skate. Like not at all, but. Like I was saying earlier, like, it was a big anticipation because I said to my mum, like, I really want to skateboard. And she said, I'll have to wait till Christmas. And at that point, my parents had divorced. So, they were separated. And so it was a long wait till Christmas because all of my friends were skating. But, man, like I said, the anticipation was immense when I finally saw that skateboard wrapped up under the Christmas tree, dude. Like I was under there feeling the wheels, trying to peek through the, the wrapper to see the graphics. And like Christmas Day, opened it up. I went straight down to the Levin bowl. It was like a teaspoon bowl, old relic from the 70s. And on first day, learnt like, not tic-tac, but tack. I guess, you know, that you backside tick and you generate speed. One way going around. Learned that. I learned the 180 like duck walk type thing, and then had this massive plastic tail block on the back so that you could kind of lean on. So I learnt 360s on that, wore it out in a week.
On your first day?
Oh, first day. I was obsessed.
Do you remember what board it was? Was it a pro board or was it just like a Kmart board or something?
Yeah, no, it was a speed and Kmart board, had plastic wheels, had this Martian on it. And the one, when I saw like a board slide, do you remember Devil Inside by NXS?
Yeah.
There's that board slide on that video clip.
I never even knew that. And then I was doing a board slide once and my friends were like, oh, Devil Inside. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like,
I used to hang for that to come on telly, but when I saw that, I actually tried a board slide on a little curb on mine, and the rail was popped immediately. It was like shitty Kmart.
Just ripped it out,
I loved that board, Levin. I just spent the rest of school holidays skating every single day on it.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
You mentioned that your friends actually got boards before you. Did you actually go out and watch them skate, like, and have to wait and borrow their boards?
Yeah, like were you standing at the side of the park on your BMX?
Oh yeah, like I'd be doing frame stands around them, because I could do frame stands, and they'd be skating. I was still kind of into the BMXing, but once everyone else was skating, it wasn't so much them. It was really seeing that, and then I guess after that was Police Academy 4. Back to the Future, like I was hyped on skating.
Yeah, how good was that?
But, we did the thing. Like I had a bit of a crew. They all had a head start on me, but it was me, Weston Bevan, Scott Bentley, Rangi Kerehi. Like we did what every little Maori group of kids would do. Went to a construction site, stole a bunch of wood, man, and built a half pipe at the back of Scotty's place.
Right.
Yeah. And
oh, you mean you guys used to steal wood as well? I thought that was only my mum. Man, all right. So everyone stole wood.
Yeah, I don't know how we got away with it, because Scotty's mum was like full Christian, right? Yeah. And Weston and Rangi, I think they were swearing or something, so they were booted out. And
they weren't allowed to skate anymore?
Nah, but at the time my dad had found Jesus, and like his mum knew my old man was going to church, and I was going to church too, so I was allowed to skate.
Okay,
thank you, Jesus.
Did they ever use in New Zealand? Did they ever used to build like mini ramps behind churches and stuff? Like,
no, that sort of happened a bit later.
Like
at Levin
groups.
Yeah, because they did that in Fairfield.
We had one of those much later when I moved, but in Levin, like there was really nothing there. There's not a lot going on, man.
Yeah, but before, I mean, Going back though, before you even started skating, you're a gold medalist, weren't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, it's a photo of me on the front page. I'd won a gold medal I did athletics for a number of years, and I won a gold medal at the Colgate Games. They're called. They're like the North Island Athletics Championships. North Island and South Island, they have them. And there's a photo of me. There it is. And see, if you have a look at my waist, I'm wearing a studded belt.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah. I've got my 2 ribbons and my gold medal, and I wore that studded belt everywhere, dude. Like, I just wrapped it around my waist like that. But better than that.
How old were you then?
I was 8 years old. And
hey, look at you towering across all the other kids there.
You look like you're about 15. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have a look on my knee, there's some warts on my knee, and the kids at school thought it'd be funny to call me Whitney Houston.
I don't get that. Like, I was like reading that, and I was like, what does...
I'm Whitney Houston, bro.
Oh,
got
yeah.
some warts on your knee, bro.
Like,
I'm Whitney Houston.
Oh.
And, it was either that or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that's even that's way tougher, yeah.
But actually, just quickly on that photo next to me is Anushka Thompson. She is Steve Gourlay, like, he's a legendary photographer, skate photographer, incredible skateboarder.
And a great skater as well, and industry guy, like, he's been involved in the industry forever,
Absolutely, dude. And so that's Anushka Thompson. That's his wife. They have a daughter called Goldie.
Wow.
Yeah, g'day, Steve, if you're watching.
Yeah,
Miss
hopefully
you, bro.
you are.
Miss you, bro.
Small world, not even skaters, and worlds collide,
Yeah, that's happened heaps. I'm sure it's happened with you too, but for sure.
Yeah, in Melbourne, for sure.
Love it, man.
Yeah, that's right.
So then, who influenced you back in the early days like that? Was it just the local kids?
Initially, it was the local kids, and we'd hadn't seen any skateboarding magazines or any skateboarding videos. Like, so, Back to the Future, Police Academy 4.
Just the mainstreamy sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't until maybe at the time I'd been going back and forth from between Levin and Palmerston North to stay with my mum, and so when I went to Palmerston North, it was a city, 60, 70,000 people, but they had a skate shop there, so I'd go there and I saw Animal Chin. And so Animal Chin was that played a huge part in just stoking me out and making me realise, like, that skateboarding's not just what you do when you get to the place. Like, you just do it everywhere, man. Like, you're pushing down the street and you do tricks on everything you come across, and so that's
I
the
think
way.
That was one of the things with Animal Chin that is underrated in that aspect of it. It's hey, skating's not just a trick, but it is all of the journey as well. It's so cool. And,
for sure. That little skid that they do, like the all of that just looks so good to me. But once I did start to read about what was going on in the industry, and one name that popped up pretty quickly was Lee Ralph, and he was everyone's idol in New Zealand because he was a New Zealander, and he looked crazy, like big beard and just scary guy that had cracked the US, and he was big pro. And
did you see him around like the traps?
Never saw him, man. I think at that time, like, he was living in Europe, probably 88, 89. But I went to the New Zealand Nationals in 89, and he was one of the judges there. That was a great time, actually. Me and my friends caught the train there, and we slept on the beach with no money for like 5 days straight. But Lee Ralph was one of the judges, and Maori was one of the judges as well. And I just, I was starstruck. I was too scared to even say hi to him, and I didn't. I actually just creeped along and sat in front of him when he was judging, just so I could hear how his voice sounded.
No shit.
So how old were you then?
I would have been 1989, so, no, how was that?
Like 11.
Whatever the math is, 13?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah, anyway. But I had the Vision Protons ad of him. I don't know if you've seen that before, but he's doing frontside Smith grinder, man. Like, I had that right in front of my bed, and so when I'd wake up, I'd just look at it. And
it's that real hung up kind of Smith.
He's got gull wings.
He's
got a gull wing, and like the Smith grinder's in it, and the back foot's hung up. I don't know, but me and my friend Dwayne Sisson, I remember Dwayne going, Junior, look at this grind. Look at the precision in that grind. Look, and we were just in awe. Anyway, so when I saw Lee, like I said, starstruck. But I remember sitting in front of him, and there was a guy skateboarding. They were judging, and the guy was like skating, and Lee was like, oh fuck, look at this guy with his limp wrist. So the guy, I know who the guy was who's skating. I'm not going to say his name.
Don't say his
but
name.
yeah, like he was pushing and he was limp wristing, like, you know, when they set up like that to do the trick.
Yeah,
and
terrible.
Mental note, don't ever limp wrist. You know?
I remember,
Just a note, that wasn't me, all right, Mum?
Yeah, no, this was New Zealand Nationals.
Yeah, I remember like you saying that story, and then I remember like Gary Valentine, like back in the day at Snake Pit, like he told us like when you're skating, he'd say you have to skate with your fist clenched like that.
Oh, really?
You know, like none of this hold your hands. Like, so I used to try and skate with my hands like that.
I can see Gary.
Take him to the next level.
Yeah, that's so rad. But do you actually remember the how Lee smelt when you were like standing next to him?
No. I didn't know the stories about his poor hygiene until later on, man.
Yeah.
Like, no, at the time I'd been on the beach for 5 days with like, no
Your
shower.
hygiene wasn't good either.
You first smelled just as
Yeah,
He
for
used
sure.
to have like singlets, but they weren't singlets. They had been t-shirts. Just
I've heard the
they'd
stories,
eaten
man.
away.
His undies rotted off
Yeah,
somewhere,
man.
and like,
Yeah.
but like I said, he showed us
That's why
that he showed us that it was possible to be a professional skateboarder from New Zealand, you know, and he was staunch. He was into his Maori culture too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that was good inspiration for us Maori kids.
Definitely. So he's a positive influence for you, definitely.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
What about like beyond that a little bit then? Internationally, who influenced you in the skateboard world? So, because when I see your skating and some of the tricks you do and stuff, there's a Chris Miller-ness about some of the stuff. Was he there in the mix?
Yeah, Hosoya, dude. Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
you know, I was a skate nerd. Like, as soon as I started getting Thrasher, Transworld, I'd read them cover to cover, and I'd like. It probably comes back to church when I used to win all of like the Bible memory verses, dude. Like, I'd just lock in facts and information, and so yeah, like I knew who skated on which team, and so I love the whole Hosoi Hawk rivalry, but Hosoi's style, to me, like, that was something I wanted to emulate. And I remember him saying, like, it's one thing to learn a trick, but you need to learn it properly so that it just looks nice for people.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you watch him, man, it's beautiful. We can do,
Isn't it?
so I just
Yeah,
wanted to emulate that.
Yeah.
Problem is, I probably took too long working on style and not enough on getting like
The trick.
You learnt stuff properly though. That's probably, you know, the difference. Yeah.
And so back in those days, you had little local bowls and stuff. Did you skate street very much, or was it mainly park and ramp sort of stuff?
Yeah, like I said, I was shifting between my dad's and my mum's, and Palmerston North being a city had a bit more to offer, and there were some skateboarders there too. There's a photo of me at the Palmerston North Square. Like, it was the first competition I'd gone to. I didn't actually go in the comp, but might see it. But there's a quarter pipe in the background. This is the earliest photo that we've got of me skateboarding. And so I started to gravitate towards going to Palmy a bit more because Levin had nothing. So there I am. That's me in the bottom right there.
That's
and
skinny.
You can't actually see my skateboard, but that's the earliest.
Have you
photo I
still got
have
that belt on there?
of me skating.
Or is that a bum bag?
Nah, bro,
What do you got?
that's the hood style, dude. Just tie your jersey around there. But
Oh, yeah.
Jersey, what's a jersey?
But there was another reason, like I started going and skating that quarter pipe and hooking up with all the crew in Palmerston North, was because my dad was still into Jesus and my mum was avoiding Jesus. And so I preferred to go and hang out with my mum because there were really no rules there, and I could do whatever I like, you know. And so I think at that time too, I was at a bit of a crossroads. Like, I'd been playing up at school big time with my dad after they'd broken up. Like, I had family in the Mungal mob. Like, they're one of New Zealand's biggest and most feared gangs, you know. And so very early on, like they'd come and stay at our house, and I loved them. Like, they were like, to me, like Wild West like characters, you know, like against
no
the
rules
law.
applied,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
And being Maori and coming from like a hyper masculine, you know, culture, like I wanted to be those guys. And so when I'd go to mum's, like mum at the time was a raging alcoholic, and she was her boyfriend was a guy, multiple boyfriends who were all criminals. My sister, who went to live with my mum, when they broke up, like, she actually got adopted into the Mungal mob by them, and so my mum lived next door to them, and so I was really getting drawn into that, like just hanging out with them and yeah, just really getting led astray. But skateboarding kind of just kept me just out of it, you know.
So was this kind of like at the same time you're just finding skateboarding that you were having all this like gang affiliation around your house and stuff? Like was that?
Yeah, that was happening. And like I was saying, I could go to mum's and just do whatever I liked. And I think
the gang stuff, did they kind of say, you know, skating's shit, don't do it, or did they not care? Whatever.
I don't ever remember them being against me skateboarding, but like I don't know, like skating was just something I kind of did, like now and again at that time, you know, like I was drinking. When I eventually moved to my mum's, just after that photo was taken, my mum said to me, like, boy, you don't have to go to school if you don't want to. Like, and I was 12 years old, man. And she lived in the most gnarly hood, like it's the most notorious hood in New Zealand. It's called Highbury. And you ask anyone from Highbury at that time in the late 80s, man, it was hectic. Like it was renowned. Like there had been murders, and like you'd go to the shops, there'd be 100 street kids called the Highbury Hoods there, and it was a place that you had to grow up pretty quickly. You had to stand on your own 2 feet. But
did you like because I know growing up as a kid in Melbourne, you got picked on for being a skater. In New Zealand, did you get picked on for being a skater? Like, or no, I suppose I'm a bit smaller than you, so I don't think anyone would pick on you. Type thing.
Yeah, but over there he's probably smaller.
Yeah. Were you kind of big for your age over there, or were you just like a kind of normal, 12-year-old?
I think maybe to put things in perspective, like my mum is full Maori, but she's one of 22 kids, man.
Wow.
And so,
really? 22?
Yeah, dude. And like some of her brothers and sisters had like 17, 18 kids. And so I've got a massive family, and some of these dudes are giants, man. And like I said, a lot of them, I've got uncles in gangs, and so that was, I was really torn. But
did they like know the Pene name, and so you could just say, oh look, if you had problems, they'd like be like, hey, he's a Pene. It's like, oh, you're my cousin, bro, you know.
Oh yeah, look, my mum's a Te Papa. That's her surname. My dad's Pene, but probably up north from where she's from, definitely. Like everyone knows them up there. It just in Palmy, like my mum, everyone knows her there, even today. Like she's like a Maori warden these days, like which they go around and help the Maori youth. But at that time, she had a bit of a different name just for being outrageous. Our family our house especially was pretty well known. Like my mum's boyfriend unloaded a shotgun at the Highbury Hoods, and like so the neighbours. No, they were like the big gang in Highbury, and he went to jail for 2 years for that. But people definitely knew who they were. But I'd never, like I tried to stay away from that. I was going skateboarding in town, meeting other people just to get away from that, man, because it wasn't a good place. Like a lot of violence, a lot of drug and alcohol use, you know. I tried to hold it together at school, but I quit school at 13, left home at 13 as well. I was essentially homeless, dude, because it was, I don't know if you've seen the movie Once Were Warriors, you know. There's the scene when he's having the party and he's bashing up the missus. Like that shit was...
So that was kind of common to see that stuff.
Regular.
That wasn't a movie for you, that was the real life.
I would say that Once Were Warriors was watered down to what it's like in the real hood. But for me, like my situation, I'd see what was going on with some of the others in the hood, dude, and mine wasn't as bad as theirs, so I didn't actually think it was so bad. But again, skateboarding gave me a way out of there. And there's this thing that I found living in the hood too, is like this reverse racism thing. Like Maoris, it's kind of us against the whites. You know, the white people have like, they've got money, they've got jobs, and I just remember like hearing that heaps, like, you know, stupid honkies, and it was kind of inbred into me, and I always had this belief. But when I started skateboarding and meeting some of the dudes from the city, Craig McClay, Nick Allsop, white guys, came from good families, and knowing them, I began to realise, like, and these people have problems just like us. Like they might have food in their cupboards, and they might have money, or, you know, parents who love them and dysfunctional families, but they have problems too. Like they're not living a perfect life. And so I started to, you know, not so much buy into the bullshit that was happening back in the hood. And so skating with those guys every day, that's when I started to become a bit better.
Did you start going in competitions like around that time as well? Like,
first, before you get to that, I was going to ask about, do you remember your first pro board that you got? So you mentioned earlier that was a Kmart board, but what was your first pro board?
Yeah, man, like the first pro board I got, like a hustled guy, and it was an Edwards John Warren. It wasn't brand new, it was second hand, but you know John Warren? He's from Queensland, and I eventually got to meet John in Adelaide, and I've skated with him, and I let him know that story, man. Like, 'cause I loved that board, the Edwards Joel Moran. But the first,
So you actually wanted that board?
No, there was just one of the hood rats had it, and
yeah.
like I traded for him. But the first pro board I ever had was the Lucero Cross. Like my mum's boyfriend had got like this payout through ACC or some shit, and he somehow he bought me a skateboard, and that was the Lucero. Took it to Levin Bowl and swapped it 2 days later for a Hosoi Hammerhead.
Nice.
Yeah, the street model one.
Yeah.
Loved that thing.
Yeah,
what was that dude thinking, swapping it for what?
Oh, the Lucero had brand new graphics and it had, the cross and it just looked cool. I don't know, and I was pretty good at talking, dude.
And so then on to that question that Will asked about, so you got into comps and stuff around about that time? You started skating a bit more often and getting into comps and things?
Yeah, for sure. They started holding street comps in the city, and there was a underage nightclub called Rages, and so I used to go down there. Like I said, I'd quit school. So I'd go and skate in the square with Macca and some of the other guys, Paul Theodore. And we had a bit of a crew. There's probably 8 of us. And
Is that the square? Sorry, that's got that sculpture that's still there today.
Like, yeah, for sure. It's still there.
Yeah,
but
things are rad. Like,
yeah. And the underage nightclub Rages started having competitions, and I started entering those, and I won quite a few of those in the under 16s.
And that was more like product prizes and things than no money.
Prestige. Yeah, but they had an indoor skate park that opened up called Tracks, and they had a comp there, and I think I might have won that one. And they sponsored me, like the guy ended up hooking me up. And so at that time, man, I just started going. I got in there for free. Actually, I need to tell the story because it's hilarious. Like I was living at the time with my mate, my best mate at the time, T. Like we were like brothers, and we were living in his garage, still in the hood. And like I was sponsored so I could get into the skate park for free. But T we'd do what we needed to do to get by. But he had it's like a fishing wire. You can put it into a game and like hook credits.
Free credits.
Yeah, they had this poker machine at the skate park, and so I'd go in. He'd go out with his wire, like click up $3 worth of credits, and tell the cashier, like, hey, I've won $3, and so they'd pay, and like they'd let him in.
Only $3, he could have stayed there all day. And,
I don't know, but he wasn't greedy, man. He would blow a good thing.
He was smart.
It's all about getting in.
Did I just think he was the luckiest dude ever? Every day he came to the skate park, he won on the poker.
Yeah, I don't know how long. I can't remember how long it lasted.
That's so rare.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Him and I fed off each other, dude. Like we were just skating so hard, and that's when I really started to progress. Like,
they just had like some quarter pipes and things in this indoor park, or
they had an 8-foot vert ramp with like I think it was like 1.5 feet of vert.
Yeah, like old Chelsea style.
Yeah. Like the old Chelsea. I skated that, but so I started skating that heaps, man. They had a
Where
spine
was that?
ramp too.
What suburb? Sorry,
Palmerston North.
Palmerston North. Yep, sure.
Yeah, and so I started skating that too. I think it may have been around that time. Like I went in the New Zealand Nationals, I ended up hooking up with this guy. Actually, prior to that, there was a skate shop in town called Carve. And one of the guys that worked in there, Andrew Royd's, kind of helped me out because he could see how I was progressing in skateboarding, winning comps here and there, and really had the fire. And so he sent away like a fax, I guess, at that time, to the distributor of BBC, Life's Beach Clothing. Yeah. It was like, man, we've got this kid here who's really skating well, and so he's going to be at the Nationals. And so when I got to New Zealand Nationals, I met up with the dude, and he was like, cool, we would like to come see you skate. And I skated in the street, and I think I might have come dead last. But I skated in the mini ramp and did okay, and I came like about 16th, I think, out of 30-something people. Yeah. And he saw me sort of warming up and practicing. I just got stage fright in the comp, but he was like, yeah, look, we'd like to hook you up. And so... What
was your first package from those?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was still homeless, living in a garage back in the hood. So I got back home to T, man, and I told T, like man, they've hooked us up, and this package came. It was like a couple of boards, Reece Simpson boards, and some Life's a Beach.
Was that the one, the peanut butter, Reece Simpson board?
Nah, it was like swirls. Had like swirls, and some shorts and some T-shirts and stickers. And like T was home when the postman brought it, and he goes, hey, bro, check it out. We're sponsored, bro.
To the postie.
Yeah.
So he was part of the sponsorship deal.
Yeah. We were like brothers, man. Yeah. We shared everything, dude. Yeah.
Rad, that's so cool.
Yeah. And so at that time, not long after that, sometime did you get involved in the Palmerston North skate? You were the committee member, or you were the chairman or something?
That happened 10 years later.
Oh, that was way later, was it? Yeah,
that was much
where you
later.
got a skate park built.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the Palmerston North had no skate park for a long time, so I was the chairman of the Palmerston North Skate Syndicate. We formed, a guy called Colin, like, he had an idea, he wanted to raise some funds and interact with the council to get a skate park built. And so I was the chairman of the skate syndicate, and we used to run skate nights. Like, you'd pay $2 and we'd have some ramps set up, and the council were matching the money that we raised, and eventually it happened that the skate park was built. But we're talking like 2000. This is some time
way
after.
Later. Yeah.
Way after. But the funny thing about that skate park, I get into is, like, there's a plaque, and my name's on the plaque. The skate park's still there. But there's this massive typo. Oh, well, it's a typo. Where they've spelt fulfilling. So it's spelled. There it is. If you have a look at the way they've spelt fulfilling.
There's your name on there.
FOREFILLING. Man, where's the spell check? Man? Like, they had an opening for this thing, dude. Like,
the council guys are there.
Yeah,
like,
the council are there. Someone's gone and bronze that thing and put it there, and that's still there to this day. It's been there almost 20 years
there it
or
is.
Something.
Just got the spelling at the bottom there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, that happened much later. There was a bit of a hiatus for me in skateboarding from 90.
So you did have a bit of a period out of skating?
Yeah, dude. I competed in the 91 Nationals, the 92 Nationals too. And then on my 16th birthday...
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, 16th birthday, I broke my arm, and I just remember it so clearly. Like, I was skating the vert ramp. Well, actually, we've probably cut forward, cut a bit, gone a bit ahead of ourselves here, because there was something that happened during then. Like, my oldest son, Michael, was born. Yeah. 1991. Like, when I was living in the garage, I met a girl, Selena, and she was my girlfriend, and she ended up getting pregnant, and
So you were 16 when you...
15 when he was conceived.
Yeah, right.
16.
Did that freak you out at that age, or were you kind of a grown up because you'd lived the way you lived already? Or?
Yeah, it completely freaked me out. We grew up pretty quickly in the hood, but there was no such thing as like sex ed or anything like that at all,
Yeah.
But yeah, so she told me that she was pregnant. So we ended up having a meeting, like my dad and her parents, and they lived on the other side of town. And her mum was deeply religious, and they were dead against having abortion.
And your dad was also religious?
Yeah, my dad too. He was religious as well. And so they knew my living situation at the time, living in the garage, and they said, look, this is what we're going to do. Like, we want for our daughter Selena to have the baby, but we'd like for you, Junior, to come and live with us as well. And so that was a massive change in my life. I got taken out of this tumultuous situation, living in the heart of the hood, just being surrounded by gang activity, And at the time, I'd been sniffing paint and smoking weed and drinking and just doing anything I could, getting into trouble, a lot of crime, and got taken into this family with two parents and their daughters, Marissa, Leneva, Andrea, and Selena, and they were and Jen. Sorry, Jen. And they were just this loving family unit, and so all of a sudden I found myself there, and that sort of started to sort of shift the way I was, because I still had this hood element to me, but then that sort of showed me again and they had food in their cupboards, and he had a job, Dad had a job. I call him Dad, I call her Mum as well, because to me they're my family. They're no disrespect to my mum. Like, I know that my mum did what she could, and in her mind, that the way she brought us up was like
because
that's the example she was given when she was young.
Yeah.
But these people showed me like unconditional love, man, and they're to me like my family still to this day. So so I went there, and they had a vert ramp just around the corner. That was helpful too.
So you were still able to skate
every day. Like, I still wasn't in school at that time.
So they weren't like, come and live with us, get a job, be a
they loved
grown
it.
up.
They loved that I skated.
Still be you.
Yeah. They actually took me. Like, Dad took me to the New Zealand Nationals in '92. They loved it because I was sponsored, and you've got a kid with passion in his life.
Yeah, they could see that.
And they just wanted to foster that. So I was skating Vortier Park a lot, with the crew there. There were 3 of us who were skating this fucking ramp, dude. It was like 10.5 foot high, 16 foot wide.
The straight up and down style ramp.
Yeah, we could do a Smith grind. That's what we called it. But really thinking back now, it's like, because you're carving one sheet to get to it, carving out one sheet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I skated that heaps, and I actually still think that's probably the best I've ever been in my life at skateboarding, man. I was landing heaps of stuff then.
So were you like a vert skater then? Like that's what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I was blasting
like,
airs, could do inverts, and
sick,
here we go, claiming shit. But
hey, that's what they're here for.
A lot of tricks that I never.
Can you still do an invert?
I don't know. I can do them straight over a spine. I've got shit ones on transition.
I'll get you to teach me because I can't do them. I've got a board specific for inverts.
Yeah,
they make boards for inverts today these days?
I've designated it as such, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think.
Is it like you got trick straps on it?
It's just not my street board. It's just one of the 5 boards I've got set up, and that one became that.
Yeah. So, 10-inch wide, so your feet can just land anywhere.
Oh, that would be handy.
Something like that, man.
So do you remember like actually learning backside airs and stuff the day you learned?
Learn all of it on the vert ramp. Like
on that super skinny 16.
Man, I was into it. And at that time, Hocus Pocus was one of the biggest. That was my
Magnuson and stuff. And,
the H Street Hocus Pocus video. Like I used to watch that 3 times a day sometimes.
So you had the video player at that house you were staying at? Watch it,
And again, still reading all of the mags, and I knew all of the whole industry. But again, what happened was, I don't know why they do it in New Zealand, but they build the ramps out of wood, and because it rains so much, man, like the wood,
it's the joins and
but it just gets soggy. So what happened on my 16th birthday was, it had been raining the night before, and then I went down to the ramp the next day, and the surface was dry, but underneath was all soggy, and I went up and did an indie nose pick. Went up to do a rock and roll, and I was leaning forward, and my board just sunk into the wood, and I put my arm out to stop it, and it just went boom like that, and like the cup and the shoulder smashed right through. And I remember
an elbow.
Yeah, this one. And I remember saying to my mate Justin at the time, like, Justin, man, I think I've broken my arm, and he was like, "You haven't broken your arm, bro?" I'm like, "I have." He goes, "But you're not crying, man." I'm like, I think we need to go to the hospital, man. Like, and I did. So I broke my arm.
That's how they do medical over there. You're crying? You're
crying? I don't think that's ever happened to Marley crying. It doesn't happen.
But I broke my arm, and so what I did, I just got over it after about 3 weeks, and I just got scissors and cut it off. Went skating that day, I broke my arm again.
Straight away.
Straight off that session. And so I was like, oh, fuck. So I went back to the hospital, we got another cast.
Now,
I waited.
This bit here, you actually waited
6 weeks.
Properly,
waited out 6 weeks. I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do the right thing. And then 6 weeks, as soon as it was off, I was straight back down the ramp, and I broke my arm again on that day. 5-0, that's overcompensated on the re-entry and just overturned.
So literally back to back to back.
Yeah.
Day on the day that you took your cast off. Each time you broke it again.
Yeah. So
what did that how did that play on your mind? Did that, because that's gnarly, man. Like
everyone quit at the same time. I broke my arm, went to the vert ramp, and everyone had quit. Like the 92. Small wheels were in, big baggy jeans were happening, vert was dead, and I loved vert. And so
did you get into the baggy jeans?
Nah, like I during the time that I was like down from skating, like I was eating heaps, I got fat, and I started to learn to play the guitar actually, and so that took over. I became obsessed with playing guitar, which eventually sort of led to me playing in bands, and rock bands and stuff. But I still had a skateboard, and I'd get out and skate a wee bit here and there. But look, it wasn't until probably around 95 or 96 that I started to really get back into skating hard. I took a bit of a back seat. I was just into playing music and stuff.
What sort of music were you into at the time?
Well, metal. Like at first,
This is the thing that interests me, because
grew up.
I picture you in metal and hard, heavy rock sort of stuff, but then there's an era of music that wasn't that, was it?
Oh that came a bit later. I grew up with Bob Marley. When the guitar came in, I started learning like Metallica and AC/DC, Anthrax. But that quickly escalated into like death metal and grindcore, and that was the shit that I loved, man. Just because I loved that they could spend so much time to write something so technical when they know that they're never going to be top 40, never going to be multi-millionaires. They're doing it for the love, And to me, that was like skateboarding.
Yeah.
Especially at that time, and so
I can see parallels.
So I really dug it. But it's funny what you're saying there, because that actually happened a bit later on, man. I got into house music.
Yeah, it's such a turnaround. It's crazy.
Because being a musician, I learned to appreciate like skill and passion in music, and house especially. Like I just love a lot of it's detailed and layered, and a lot of intricacies in there and subtleties that people may not hear. So that sort of drew me into that, and it was happy music, dude.
Yeah,
It's mouse. You can dance around it anyway.
Yeah.
But there was a PlayStation game called Music 2000. It's not a game; it was like a software package. And like I said, this happened a bit later. But I started writing songs on Music 2000, and ended up submitting some of them through to Radio Massey at the time, which was local student radio. I don't know how it happened, or I don't know what the criteria was, but my song Soul Rebel, like I remember sitting in this restaurant, these two girls that I knew came up and they were like, with the newspaper, and they're like, "Oh my God, Junior, your song's #1. I'm like, what? And they were like, check it out. And it was like, for some reason, in my mind, it's either April or August 2nd, 2000 of the newspaper. And it was, my name was like #1.
No shit.
And it was, that song, Soul Rebel, was #1 for 6 consecutive weeks. I think it was like the Datsuns were #2 and like a whole bunch of others. And
that's awesome.
I know, but this was written on the PlayStation, dude. And all of a sudden I was getting these phone calls to like come and play gigs and play like live to air. I played a live to air on the radio.
On your
PlayStation? Two PlayStations set up. And what I'd do is like a mixer in the middle and mix to that one while this one's loading with the old memory card.
No way.
Play that song and then flick to that one and get that one loading. I'd have like 2 screens, you know. I ended up playing like this dance party at the Globe Theatre, which is like the big like town hall type theatre in Palmerston North, and with my PlayStations.
Wow.
That's
but,
right.
Yeah, but I didn't know about APRA at the time. APRA are like the governing body of music. And if you sign up with them, like you get money every time your song is played. I'm fucking Mary from the hood, dude. I didn't know that shit. You know, like,
so you didn't cash in?
Didn't get anything. Just
So you're like, someone's cashing in on your #1 status. Like, still to this day.
Yeah, the girls say that sometimes, because when I go home, like, you know, the girls say they still hear it now and again. It comes up on the radio.
Yeah.
Soul Rebel.
Soul
Listen
Rebel.
out for that.
All right, maybe we can get a
Can we
link
hear
for
it on
that,
YouTube or something? Is it?
No, it's not on YouTube. And someone ripped off my house and stole like the memory cards. I think I've got a CD with it on. I'll find it.
Please.
That's
yeah,
so cool.
to hear that.
So you, back in those days, you were writing your comps and stuff, and then you had that lull, broken arms, arm.
Yep.
And then what was it that then got you back to skateboarding? What sort of brought you back to getting involved again a bit more regular?
Man, I started playing music with these Christian dudes who were death metalers as well. There is such a thing as Christian death metal, and I was hanging out with them a lot because these dudes were incredible musicians, but they skated as well. And so, like, I was playing music with them, and we'd skate together as well. And so, just from them and going out nighttime sessions, and I was skating a lot. I think once the X Games came on telly as well, I'd seen that, and it didn't take long for me just to start picking up a lot of the old tricks that I had, and I just started to really love it again. And I hooked up with my mate T from the hood once more, like. So him and I just started.
He'd been out of it a bit as well.
He went off to do some other things, but we hooked up again, and so we just started skating heaps together, back like the old days, just pushing each other. And so we'd be on missions each weekend. There was actually a crew that stayed through the whole period of big wheels and the 90s small wheels, big jeans.
Big jeans.
Yeah.
They're called the Jedi crew. And so I hooked back up with those guys, and they had a ramp at the front of their house, and we'd have parties and skate. And so it didn't take long till I was back right into it again.
And that was back to vert?
No, we didn't have a vert ramp, man. Like
So it was more mini and party sort of stuff?
Yeah, mini.
Yeah.
And
Did that Jedi crew have any affiliation with Jedi here in Melbourne?
I don't know. Is there a Jedi in Melbourne?
You know Jedi, the skater who skates?
That lunatic from the forums?
Yeah.
Get out of here. High voltage. You know this guy?
He skates with a
lightsaber.
Lightsaber and calls himself Jedi.
He's scary.
He got on the news because he used to skate on the train and wait till it would take off.
Oh,
and
do that roll through. I remember
roll
that.
through,
Yeah.
You know that he bet me $500 that he could beat Costin in the World Cup that year, the AST, and I took the bet.
He was going to beat Costin.
Yeah, I said, "You sure you want to take this bet?" I asked him 5 or 6 times. He was very mentally unstable, but I just took the bet anyway.
Did he pay up?
Did he? Did he pay up?
He gave me $50. Like I said, dude, look, you made that bet like it was a silly bet to make. You know, like what were you thinking? He goes, no, I've got the money for you. Don't worry. I go, dude, don't pay me. And then I go, please don't pay me. And then he dropped off $50 at the skate park for me, you know. Like he goes, I can't give you 500, but I'll give you what I've got.
Because he's on the dole. He didn't work.
Yeah, yeah. And I felt terrible. Like I just took the bet because I thought he was like going to renege. But anyway, but back to your
Jedi. Glad to hear that.
That's funny.
No, our Jedi crew were rad, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had a rad.
And they were actually like clothing and stuff they had?
Yeah, for sure. So they I was on the Jedi team. So yeah, they had clothing, and it was a really popular clothing brand actually. You'd see it around Palmy heaps, but each year, a few of them at the Jedi ramp jams were held at the on the ramp at the front of it was like a halfway house. So I lived there for a bit too. But they had skate comps there, and first year Ricky Iola came out to the comp, and then the year after that, Jake Phelps, Julian Stranger, Mike Archimedes, Richard Kirby, Lee Ralph, they all came to the comp as well, and I think I came third in that comp. But yeah,
is it the Vans Warp Tour period? And
no, the Warp Tour was a bit after that.
Was different.
It was 99.
So, did you have Phelps stay at your house?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they stayed the night. Like we had like 4 kegs that night or something.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Actually, there's some footage on the end of one of the Thrasher videos, Beers, Bowls, and Barneys of them at our house, like dropping in on a couch, like in the wet. Yeah. But I still spoke with Phelps about that. Like I've run into him a couple of times, man, and he was like, yeah, that was a great time actually. I saw Phelps at Fitzy Bowl one time and was like, dude, remember staying at my house? He was like, yeah, man, junior week right there. And he went to the van and like came back and gave me a brand new real JR Nevs board. He was like, here you go, man. I was like, overall, man, like, people talk shit on him, but he's cool.
No, man, he's amazing. Yeah.
He's done a lot for skating.
Can we get him on?
Yeah.
Maybe
he'd be interesting.
It's only a little bit of a trip from over there. So what did you enjoy about comp? You did a lot of comp. You're still doing comps, but what is it that you enjoyed or still enjoy about comps?
At that time, I was poor and I wanted product. And I actually, to be honest, like I think it was like if I knew I had a bit of a chance, or I just wanted to scare myself and have a go. You know, I don't really know. I came from an era when skate comps were how you established your place and
not videos.
You became a professional from skate competitions, like not from video parts. So I was just doing comps straight away.
Yep. Right. And what about now? You're still doing comps? You're still
throwing myself.
What was your recent one? You've got a few trophies in front here. What was your recent one that you just took away?
The most recent was the 3rd place at the Australian skate titles. That was in the vert. But the last one I won was the King of Vert, which was at the Shed.
Cool.
I was super proud of that. I think, there was a big period there where I wasn't skateboarding and I wasn't looking to ever be back into skateboarding, and so just to be able to prove to myself that I can do this again, that meant a lot to me. So I don't know. Comps don't actually mean you're better than anyone else at all.
Just on the day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so just coming first in the comp makes
But you enjoy the atmosphere that a comp brings and the people together and that sort of stuff.
People together, all of that. But at the time, I fucking hate it, man. Like it's so stressful.
When you've got to drop in.
But the sense of accomplishment afterwards, man, it's like heroin.
Yeah. And comps aren't all good, are they? Like there's been occasions where you've been ripped off.
There's the comp in Northkit. I'm sorry to bring this up, Blake, but
Blake, we'll get Blake on to tell his side of the story too. So
there's this comp in Northkit that I went in, and at the time I was skating in Northkit heaps, man, and I could do stuff in that bowl, and the first prize was $1,000, which is heaps, and I remember after one of the runs I did everything that I could do, and it was a flawless run. I didn't bail, and it was like, right, that's cool, and everyone there, like Shaka, Boz, they were all like, man, you've won it, dude. And in the judges panel, like there was a rapper guy who knew shit about skateboarding, and he gave the prize to Blake Convey, who bailed in his run and did a manual roll like afterwards and did the manual and won. And like, no disrespect to you, I know you rip, Blake, but like, you need to be gracious about these things, but that one hurt. I came 4th.
Yeah, right. And in fact, I think I saw on one of Blake's social medias the other day that he put a picture of that comp. He was doing a tail tap or something.
Yeah.
And there was all these people behind him at the bowl. It was like flat out. And
we made him shout us, actually. We were like just full peer pressured him into shouting us, man.
Good on you.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of money back in the day too. So you would have been pretty keen on getting some drinking money that night, I reckon.
Yeah,
so,
you'd won a couple of those, did you?
Not at Northcote, never.
1,000?
Yeah, I've won $1,000, but never in a bowl. I've never won a bowl comp. So,
yeah.
But
yeah, that would have been nice.
Don't forget your ranking went down last year.
That would have been nice, but oh well.
Yeah.
His is going up.
Well, that's it. Where I actually did look up your ranking on the
Border?
Border, yeah.
Where am I at the moment?
Oh, look, I should have printed it out, but we didn't actually talk about your street junior, because street junior actually got second in the Masters comp, didn't you?
Yeah, look at the Masters. I did.
Yeah.
You won.
Oh, did I? Oh.
Yeah. Should we talk about it?
Thanks for reminding me.
No, give us a blow by blow. Yeah, how did it go, man?
Yeah,
how did it feel to win?
I just want to talk about, well, because I got some messages on social media about how did Junior beat Jace Ridgway. So, like, tell me about your strategy on that.
Still don't know. Like, if you see my 43 tricks, I did all of that 90s coping dancing tricks on the quarter pipes and beat Jace Ridgway. And Tom Rees, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to apologise.
Well, you don't.
I'm not judging.
Well, you're not watching anyone else. I have no idea what
doing the judging
anyone else did, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's it's on the day, isn't it? Really. So maybe you're wearing a louder shirt than Jace Ridgway was or something, or
stood out a bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
And what about then? So comps were a big thing. You've done a lot. You keep doing a lot of that. But what about demos? Did you do many demos?
Yeah. Look, actually, when I was on BBC back in the early days, I'd done a couple for them, but we're sort of skipping timelines all over the place here. But yeah, look, the Big Day Out demos were rad. That was 2012. That was at the time, like Renton had hooked it up, and so there were 2 levels of demo. I guess was it 2 or maybe even 3? But there was like Hawk and Elliot Sloan and Renton and some others, and then there was kind of us, like Kildare and Haswell, and we got to go in in the Big Day Out for free and watch Kanye West. And
that was the Kanye West one. Yeah.
Such a twat, dude.
And did you do that around Australia, all of them, or just the Melbourne one?
That one there was Melbourne, but I don't know, like things are pretty blurry for me. Like there's times there are other things that I just sort of blagged my way into, like the detour with Billabong, and I'm sure there are many others, but just...
You did some DJing too at a lot of skate comps, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, Renton hooked it up where I was, for me to DJ at the Battle for Supremacy comps, and so Billabong were running them at heaps of money, and so like they flew me out to Sydney and put me in a hotel room. I drank all the minibar.
Yeah.
I did that a couple of times, and here I am just playing a Spotify list. Well, no Spotify at that time, but it's playing a list. But you can say that though, but like I think there's a bit of skill in being a good skate comp DJ.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'd play a lot of music from early skate videos and stuff that meant something to the skate culture.
Yeah.
Not just what might sound good to them. And it's hilarious having parents come up to me and being like, oh, one of the parents was like, can I please play some Prodigy? And I was like, man, do you not know this song? He's like, nah, but I'm like, this is Nardis's song from Streets Fire, dude. Like, you never watched that? Like, this legend, so he left, It's like, so this means something to us. So.
But on the other side, I remember you were DJing at a City Park comp, and then I heard some people coming up and saying, man, that's so cool. Like, everything you've played has been, like, I haven't heard this song in ages, and like even for me too, being a skater, like, brings back so many memories when you're DJing, because it's like, you're playing, the stuff from Plan B videos, like all those videos, and you're like,
sometimes you hear like the first couple of bits of it, and you're just remembering how that video was, and you're just like, and you get pumped,
but like the time that I was DJing the comps and stuff was a time that I'd taken a bit of a break from skating. Like I was skating off and on here and there, but like I'd always been a pretty big drinker. Like when around sort of 2005, like I guess I started to get into drinking like a lot more, and so.
We talked earlier about your broken arm. Is that around the time when you broke your leg?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was on the Hoon Run. I got asked to come along on the Hoon Run, which is like a legendary skate park tour, I guess you could call it, with that's organised by Andrew Curry, the Cuzza, and I got a call from Potty and Mugs, and they were like, man, if you can fly out to Canberra, like we'd like for you to be on the Hoon Run. And to be asked to be on that is, you're in a special group there, because the pros that were on that were Matt Mumford, Aaron Susky, Javier Menanzabal, Dandra Hobel, Dorfus was there. You know,
heavy hitters.
Was Jake Duncan on that one as well?
Yeah, Jake was there too.
Yeah.
Mike O'Mealy was there, photographer, you know, taking photographs. Like heavy, and these dudes are the cool dudes in skateboarding. So like I went along, but again, like I just was so into drinking. Like I just spent most of the time drinking, and so like we went to the skate parks, and for those dudes would be skating. I was skating a bit, but just like, any time really that I was able to be away from work or weekends, like I'm drinking, man, because drinking gave me the confidence to skate, I thought, and made skateboarding easier, which it didn't. But at the time, I bought into that belief. But I broke my leg at Kempsey Skate Park fairly severely.
What trick were you doing?
Just a grind tail slide, man.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing in front of all those dudes, actually.
So those guys, like, didn't they force you to do a trick? Like they said you had to get a trick at every spot. Was that the deal?
Not for me. We were just the peanut gallery, man. Me and Monks and Greggy Tang were just getting smashed.
Yeah, sure.
But like I didn't want to leave the tour, so I walked.
So you actually
walked around on it for 3 days.
Yeah, you didn't even.
All I did was drink. All I did was drink for the pain. Tried to ice it, and it had swollen up so badly and become purple with like blisters all over it.
You're not allowed to complain on those tours, are you? That's one of the rules.
There's all sorts of rules, man.
So like that's probably why you stay. It's like I'm not allowed to complain. I can't go to the hospital.
If you saw the leg, like they were pretty good for me. And
did you know it was broken, or you just knew it was pretty messed up? You didn't know how.
You could see that it was just pretty serious by the third day.
Yeah.
And
you could have died from that shit.
Yeah. So like they dropped me off at Gold Coast Hospital, but I got to see some of the raddest skateboarding I've ever seen on that trip, man.
Yeah.
We went to Beachmont. You know, Beachmont's like
super tight mini ramp?
No, dude, it's like a concrete vert ramp out in the hills, in the middle of a forest.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, we got to go there.
And it's like that awesome photo of a grind and the dust from the grind coming up and the light behind it.
Yeah, we got to go there, and I got to watch those guys skating that, and so like
and Mumford would have been ripping it, and oh man.
Yes, but after they dropped me off at Gold Coast Hospital, like they went into Pizzey Park for the Halloween thing. That was when Mumford smashed his head open, split his head open.
Yeah.
But like I was at Gold Coast Hospital for 2 weeks. They had to wait for the swelling to go down, and before they could fly home.
Did they stop you from drinking too? Like was that?
With my leg being broken, I'm going to drink regardless, even if they say it. I'm going to go.
In the hospital? How did you do that?
There was this guy. He was across from me. It was an old boy, right? And he had a daughter and his wife. They were from North Queensland. They kept on coming to visit each day, and he saw me like no visitors, and so she was like, "Do you drink?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she knew no one there. She was like, "Cool, like, I'll go get a slab and like wheel you out to the front of the hospital if you want to drink." I'm like, "Rad." And so put me in a wheelchair, and like she wheeled me out the front, left me there, and then went to the bottle store and came back with a slab. Just got wasted. And
she just sat there with you.
Yeah, so we kind of had that going on until I got to leave. When I got back to Melbourne, it was on for me for drinking. I was out of skating, and I was drinking pretty hard. And around that time was when I had another, like a serious concussion. I was trying to skate Ringwood. Yeah. It was at the opening of the Ringwood Bowl, and Chris Eafy still says it's the worst slam he's ever seen in his life. And I called you.
Yeah, you called me, and you were, I think you were asking me like you were pretty out of it, like, or it could have been before or after, but I know that you told me that you drove home, or you're asking, should I drive home? And I was like, nah, dude, like, don't get someone to drive you, and you don't. Did you have no one to drive you?
I don't remember it. I don't remember any of it, man. Like apparently I just called you and told you about a party. Yeah. And I did drive home. Yeah. And then the next day, like I had black eyes because my brain had like hit the front of my head so hard, like it rebounded, and like I had 2 black eyes in the front from hitting at the back. So I went to work, and my mate was like, "You need to go to the hospital." And so I went to the hospital, and they did like a scan straight away, and I'd had like a brain hemorrhage. Whoa. And so they put me into the neuro ward, and I was there for like 3 weeks. Like, serious. And it ended up dissipating. They gave me a lot of drugs to try and help that. That one moment there was when I'd say I probably became a full-blown alcoholic. Like I was out of work, like it wasn't, and I was just morning drinking as well. And there's this thing that happens where you're drinking, you black out, you wake up, you feel shit about being such a pile the night before. The way to get rid of that feeling is to start drinking again. Yeah. And also I've got all of this shit going on, shaking and stuff, you know. Yeah.
It just like, develops a cycle. Yeah.
And that cycle went on for some years, man.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, because there's a few other things through the the skating side of it that are worth touching on at the moment in terms of travel, which you've had a fair bit of exposure. You travelled Europe, America. In 1 year, you travelled 10 countries in a year.
Yeah, but I'd get there, I'd get looked after. Like with Pete King, had invited me along to Marseille Bow Riders, and so he was on Quicksilver, and so I could...
Picture just behind you there over your left shoulder.
Oh yeah, there we are. That's me skating Marseille for the second time. That was 2014, but 2003, I competed in the... 2003 I competed in the Marseille Bow Riders, and I stayed in the hotel with Pete King. He's a pro skateboarder from England. Andy Scott as well, who was a pro skateboarder for Flip Skateboards. Benji Galloway, and just skating in a pro comp like that was another...
Were you the first New Zealander to ever compete in Marseille?
That's what they told me, was that I was the first New Zealander to skate in the Marseille Bow Riders, and at that time Marseille was, It was
a big thing, It was like a Tampa kind of thing is now. Everyone goes to it.
Yeah, but I can't remember where I came there, but yeah, that was a great time too. It's like I said, coming from the hood, and then the next minute I'm sitting in a flash hotel eating buffet breakfasts with all the dudes, and
That's something I remember too, is going overseas and hooking up with like Rodney and like Pete and those guys. They always had their hotels paid for, so you'd be like, you just tag along and you get to sleep on the floor in this nice hotel and get a free breakfast.
Confetti for the parties. It's all free alcohol.
Just pay for your way to get there, and then you're sorted.
Rad parties and things. That's happened to me a lot actually, but yeah, for sure.
Where else did you travel?
When I went to the States, like I went and stayed with Al Partnan, like he's a pro skateboarder for Creature. He had invited me over. I met him. He came to one of my birthday parties at Fitzroy, and he invited me to come and stay with him, and said like he'll look after me. And so I went over and stayed with Al, and it was a great time. He introduced me to Steph Lim, who played Peggy Oki in Lords of Dogtown, and awesome. So we were a bit of a crew, dude, and we went skating with like Encinitas with Buster Holterman. He was a Planet Earth pro. And Mike Crum, and went down to Darren Navarrette's place in San Diego and hung out with Matt Dove and those guys, partied. Went and saw Agent Orange with those guys.
Rad.
Yeah, man, it was a rad time. And but again, at that time, drinking every single day, just making a bit of a nuisance of myself. And Al was the most gracious host ever, but and I think I was good for the most part, but there was a window where juniors just smashed and
ruined it.
Yeah. I did kind of blow it, but Al took me to a party at Eric Samanda's house. He's like he played Greg Sanders in CSI. He's the dude in the white lab coat, the nerdy guy,
the geeky one.
Man, this dude's spread was so rad, dude. It was up in the Hollywood Hills, and it was his own private July 4th party. And there were like 30 of us there, fully catered, and just...
Was he into skating somewhat, or is it...
Al knew him from Milwaukee, I think, and Jaya Bondaroff was there, actually. We hung out with him too. But, he just knew him, and they were bros, and so I got to live that, and that was rad too, man.
That's cool.
Again, just coming from Highbury, man, and next thing I'm in the Hollywood Hills, at a catered party with like proper celebrities. It was gnarly. Anyway, like what happened after that was like just drinking heaps, and I think Al got a bit fed up with it. And eventually he kicked me out.
Didn't you get some work or something over in the States while you were there?
Yeah,
How did you manage that? Like, how do you hook up work in America of all places? Like,
there was just this. I saw this film crew going. They were filming on Venice Beach. This is before the skate park was built. Yeah. And I was skating in that little park, and they came out they were filming, and I just started chatting to some of the crew, and they're like, "Man, we need someone like you in the show. Like, are you cool to do it in the movie?" Yeah. I was like, "Yeah." And so I went there each day for like 5 days or something.
Wow.
What was the movie?
It's called Team Extreme. And
Team Extreme.
Yeah, and it's rad, dude. Like,
what is this Team Extreme? Is it a skate type movie? Or?
It was done. No, yeah, it is. But what the story is, it's there's a guy. His name was Calvin Castleberry. He was like a roller skater, and he was the sickest thing on the Venice Boulevard. Boardwalk. And then like this dude with a skateboard comes along and steals his thunder, right? But Calvin realizes that the skateboarders have been drinking this energy drink, and that's what's making them so rad. So like there's full investigation into like the energy drink company to try and like shut it down, But
who wins in the end? Do the skaters win or the?
I still have not seen the full movie. Like it was on YouTube briefly, but just in segments.
Yeah.
And Yeah, like if anyone out there knows where that movie is,
Let's check it out, yeah.
Field TV, Team Extreme. Please let me know, because I was in heaps of the scenes. I could go up and high five the main guy, and
maybe maybe skateboardcollecting.com or something
someone could find it.
Find that out,
Team Extreme is something I think my brother would call his family when he goes off to like rock climbing or something. Team Extreme.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he's a dork, man.
There's no episode where you can't diss your brother, is there? It's just
well, I did tell him he wasn't able to be here, and I said I'm going to make sure I mention you.
Just get a dig in. You can't give them back.
Yeah, well, I'll get it back somehow. Mum will clip me one. She likes Grant. Now that sort of leads a little bit towards the other big thing you're known for here in Australia, and the Visa card ad. Well, that was more than Australia, wasn't it? Did that go over it?
Yeah, the Visa card ad happened again, sort of after I got sober, and things like I was saying.
There's a picture of you.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah, grabbing a coffee on the way through. Is that what you did there?
Don't you throw your change at them or something?
Yeah, it's weird how that happened, right? My friend Ash Boland, he's a director, and I've known him from New Zealand. He reached out to me to say that, he didn't tell me it was Visa, but he wanted me to provide him with some, just to scout some talent for this ad, and like they had a demographic of what the client were looking for.
No, I'm joking.
For those at home, Will's signifying that he should have been the man. As soon as you heard the word talent, you instantly honed in on yourself.
So anyway, I submitted a whole bunch of names.
Obviously, I was on that name. Was just
sorry, Will. I had no disrespect. I had to go for like looks. They needed to be this whole like handsome. So RJ was one guy I put in there because Jesus, he's good looking, and. Lakin as well.
Yeah, Lakin.
Living in the bedroom.
Lakin was another name. I put like a whole bunch of them in. Jimmy from Sydney, and I submitted them through to him. He was like, "We're going to pay you a fee for this," and I was like, "That's rad." But then he came back. Like demographic was like 19 to 20 something. I was like, "Cool." Yeah. And he came back and he was like, "Hey, like we're thinking of putting you in there." And I'd heard, man, that like 250 people, because there were in the ad there were going to be 3 heroes.
Yeah.
Jimmy was one of them. And George from Queensland, George Richards was the other, and they were looking for the third, and like apparently there were 250 people that auditioned for this role.
Oh, they actually auditioned?
Yeah, man, and I got it. Like they just...
Did they have to be able to skate?
Well, they were, like I said, they needed to fit this look and this age group and be able to skate. Yeah. And the Visa, before I knew it, like the Visa people asked me just to introduce myself on camera. I sent it off, and then one thing led to another, and I had a dude knocking on my door as a driver. They flew me to Sydney.
They picked you up at your house.
Picked me up at my house, drove me to the airport, flew me to Sydney, and I was there for like 5 days. Hotels, everything sorted.
Jeez, man. Thanks
Where
so
did they
much.
film
We got paid heaps for that ad.
Did you get the 3 pays?
Yeah, because
you did the job of 3 people, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and your commission for getting yourself
I got the commission.
For getting yourself.
It seriously fell into my lap, and I firmly believe it actually happened just because at that time I had a new lease on life, like I'd quit drinking and I was just projecting this
more
positivity, man, and it was just coming back, dude.
Great.
And look, and man, we got paid crazy amount. It got sold to Southeast Asia, Australia, and each time it got another run, like we would get paid again. So,
oh wow!
It's
hanging out near his pockets. There's got to be something.
And that's why I'm so upset that he didn't. Man. Because if they had seen a photo of me, they would have just said, "Yeah, you're right for the job." But that's all right. You got the job, so couldn't have happened to a better person. So that's all right.
Where did they film it at?
That's the thing. Like Visa have got so much cash. 5 Dock. They booked out 5 Dock for like 2-3 days. The entire park. It's a massive park. They were like,
how can you book out a public park? That's a
you throw $250,000 at them or what? I don't know. Like that's.
Yeah. But because they rebuilt a whole bunch of stuff around
local at the park,
if
I'm a local at the park and I go down go session, and it's like, nah, sorry, close session.
The security guards booted them out. I felt sorry. I'm the dude on the inside watching the skaters getting booted out of their local park, feeling bad for
You're drinking your coffee and just having some lunch.
Actually, just with that photo too, I had 4 shirts, man, like, because I had to cover up my tattoos. I had 4 shirts. I'd go up, do the grind, and I'd have sweated out my shirt. That the woman would take it off, and they'd have people blow drying one shirt, put another shirt on, and then like just wardrobe, and I'd rotate the shirts. And
no shit. Why didn't you afford it? Why did you just need a long sleeve, like, and then a?
Yes, I've got
no 4 of those long sleeves.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
they just kept
not all on at once.
They kept replacing them.
I was going to say,
if you had them all on at once, you would have popped the collars and funked it up.
It was nerve-wracking, dude. Like when you've got that many people, that many extras, like trucks everywhere, everything focusing on you. But like this, actually, almost. But like it's scary.
How crazy is it when you go for film shoots? I've done a few things like that, and you're basically spend all day waiting.
Yeah.
And then how do you then go and do your trick? Like, I mean, you've got to warm up. Skateboarding's not just like, you don't just walk like an actor would just walk down the street or whatever and say a line. You've got to do a trick. You've got to warm up.
I started to prepare as soon as I knew that it was going to be me. Like they were interested in me. I started going to the gym like every night, and I was just using the cross trainer heaps. So but even then I was still super unfit. Like, and that's the thing, man.
So you said how long had you been sober for then? Like
2 years. So I quit drinking 2012. December 18th, December 18th, 2012.
Yep. So what was the turning point that made you decide, oh, this is enough, I'm gonna,
I think even before we go to the turning point, maybe just a reflection on the era that it was, that how drinking was, or how addiction, we'll call it, because there was more than just alcohol. How was that era? What were some of the downs? Like, what were some of the things that you dealt with in that time?
Man, that's the thing. I'd always been pursued by demons. I guess there's a podcast I listened to recently, a guy called Gabor Mate, and he talks about how children that have been traumatized or have experienced trauma, everyone who experiences trauma might not become an addict, but everyone who is an addict has experienced trauma. And so there's a way that you try to fill that void, And my whole life, I just remember trying to just fill that void. And when you're being neglected as a child, when you have these experiences and things that have happened to you. I've had a lot of close people to me die, and you just try to fill that void. And
and because you mentioned earlier that it was like when you were 10 years old, you were drinking, smoking, all that sort of stuff.
Smoking,
that was the environment you were in.
Yeah.
For such an early age to be so deep in it. And then obviously it's tough to get out of that cycle when other things around you are falling down too. You mentioned earlier on about Selena, the mother of your first two children.
Yeah.
And then what we didn't talk about was she had some major health issues and obviously dealing with that.
Yeah, that's right. So after she had we had our second child together in 1993. Like at that time, after Michael was born, like I went back to school, and I went back to school as an adult student, man. Like, so I was 16 years old doing fourth form. So,
wow.
Yeah,
you're big enough as it is.
So embarrassing.
With it.
It was a really humbling experience, but I just knew, like, because I was completely uneducated, I had never read books, and I knew I had to do something with my life, and so I did that, and was back at school, and then so Selena became pregnant again, accidentally again, and at that point, then when Cameron was born, like she had some complications with her kidneys, and it did last for some time, but things really did deteriorate for her, and she ended up passing away of renal failure in 1999, and like that was a pretty heavy thing, but for me to handle, and for her family as well. But
which you said are your mum and dad?
Yeah, man, they're my family, dude.
Were you still living with them at that stage? Or?
At that point, I was still trying to be educated. I'd gone to Whakatane. I was doing a
that wasn't a swear word, say.
Yeah, Whakatane. No, it's a beautiful town, man. Like, it's up in the east coast of North Island, but there's a Maori university there, and so I'd enrolled in a Bachelor of Maori Studies. I'd always had ties to my culture. My mum had always spoken Maori to us growing up, and so I just really wanted to sort of pursue that and maybe get like a university qualification and go into Maori journalism, Maori something.
Right.
But like that got cut short because Selena had a stroke, and a severe stroke, and lost the use of one side of her body. So like I went back to be with the family and to look after my boys, and she hung in there for probably about 10, 11 months, but she ended up passing away.
She was only what, 21?
Well, she was 23.
23.
It's 24. But
that's mad. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was a big thing for us to deal with, and so like all of us just sort of banded together. The family, like her family, have always been super supportive of all of us. Like looking after the boys was a community thing, not just me or Selena.
Yeah. And what was it that got you to come to Australia, or Melbourne particularly?
Yeah, well, look, about a year after Selena, like I had at that time, like I had another partner. We came to Australia for a holiday to Melbourne, and I was only supposed to be here for 2 weeks. And as soon as I got here, I went to the Stoyles Yards.
Yeah,
We're a skate park, man. Like in the city, for those who don't know, Stoyles Yards was a skate park where QV is right now.
Yeah.
And it was...
That was a serious park too. There's a lot of stuff there. Yeah.
Serious park. And saw the skateboarding that was going down there, and I went... you know what I did? And I still have these photos. I went to all the spots, like the black waves, and took photos of that. And went to the Yellow Peril.
So all the ones you'd seen in magazines.
Paran Skate Park. Yeah. Paran Skate Park is... I think I cried when I went there for the first time.
Was that the original version?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Because I knew the words on the sign just from reading in magazines, like, you know, just staring at photos of Christian Hosoi. Like I knew it intimately, and just to be there was just like, man, I'm on hallowed ground. So all of that happening, and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to go live back in Palmy after this shit. So I went back to Palmerston North, sold everything, came back to Melbourne. It was just like, man, I'm going to make it work. And
did you bring your children?
And not at that time. I was still living with Selena's parents. A bit later on, once we became established and got a house and stuff, they did come and live for some time, like some years, but I think things were difficult for them, and one thing kind of led to another, which eventually led to them moving back to them.
Yep.
And
you're still in touch?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they're my family, man. And yeah, absolutely. But Michael and Cameron, they're 27, 24 years old now. They're adults living their own life.
Big kids, yeah. Awesome. And so we did sort of deviate a little bit, getting you to Melbourne story kind of thing. And so you came here and loved it, and that was it. You were here. Yep. And now you're a Melbourne dude through and through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love Melbourne. It's the best city the greatest city in the world. I'm lucky to have travelled around and seen other places, man. Nothing compares to this place, dude. Like I'll live here until I die if I can. Like I just love it.
Where were you living when you first came across?
Fitzroy. I went to Fitzroy skating Fitzy heaps, and then I ended up getting a place in Yarraville. I became a local down at South Kensington.
Yep.
And straight away, like I met Tom Rees, Anton, John Day.
Those guys used to rip
Quirky too. He was on the show the other day.
Yeah.
And those Don Tar, Conts.
Don Tar.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Spencer and those guys too. And so Jace Ridgway, like all of them, man. And they made me part of the family. Like it's real fast.
Yeah.
So we were partying and skating together a lot.
I heard a story about when you first got to Melbourne that you were sponsored by Kmart.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Didn't put that on the information I got.
Oh man.
Out of those 1,700 pages of information.
Tell me more, please. I really got to hear this story. Everyone needs to know about it.
It was the hustle, man. Like I didn't know. I didn't have any sponsors. I didn't know anyone here. So Kmart, it was the Target actually, man. Like Target had these boards that had like concave, and I think they were like 8-ply. Like they were just usable as a pro board, right? They concave and tails, double tail, but they had this return policy. If you break them, like you can just take them back broken, they'll swap them. I did that for ages, man. I reckon I did like 3 a week. Like I just take them. Yeah. Like some would last longer than others, but I just keep taking them back. And
how would you?
And they never questioned it.
Were those
not
trucks
once.
with the?
Not once. I bought one, and I had about 100 of them.
So weren't they the ones? Did they have the trucks that were seriously as wide as?
No, just the decks, dude. Like there was no trucks on them.
They sold
just decks, and they were like pro boards, but they were not.
Was it the ones with the like edges like this table?
Because I broke one and I took it back and was like, man, it broke. And they're like,
how'd you even know to go to Target to find a board though?
Saw it in there. Target in the city.
I never even knew that.
Because I've heard that that Target that you go to, they've got a picture of you up in the wall and say, do not, no returns from this man. That is a rad story though. I like that one.
And moved on from that. Just got sick of taking them back. It was embarrassing too. Same chick. Like, come on, Junior.
Yeah. She knew by now. You go out on a date or anything like that after that, or no.
I remember at Kensington when you were first skating there a fair bit. And my friend Carlton was skating, and he fell down and he's dislocated his kneecap.
Yeah.
And he's bigger than me, so I'm like, oh, how do I pick him up and get him to the hospital? And Junior, you walked over and just picked him up and put him in the car for me.
Like, my genes, man. The Maoris, dude. Good at carrying shit.
Yeah, I can pick the heavy things.
Load us up. But I remember that, man. Like, it was a pretty heavy fall for the dude. And you're right, he's a bit of a giant, man.
He still talks about how good you are. What a great dude.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
How'd they get him out of the car then? You went and asked the ambulance.
I did a handbrakey, and then as the door flung open, he rolled out, and then just left him for them to pick up at the hospital.
With your driving training,
skill,
you knew exactly how to do it.
It was his car too.
Is it dislocated?
Yeah, his kneecap was like right over there, and then both of his knees are pretty bung up. So he's had operations and things to fix him up. So yeah, it wasn't unexpected sort of thing. Yeah,
bounced back.
Yeah.
So just on a side note, I just wanted to know with Junior, I was thinking about where were you in 1981 in terms of, do you remember a certain one-day international?
1981?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, like I told you, like cricket and rugby, for sure, man.
So, yeah, did you remember Greg Chappell? And
absolutely, the underarm, Trevor Chappell.
Do you feel that was cheating, or like, what's your stance on that?
No, I don't think it was cheating. Like, I know it was within the rule book. I think it was pretty low, man. Like, to bowl a ball under. For those who don't know, like you cricket, you bowl it over arm, and there was one ball left in the game, and
they needed
New Zealand versus Australia, and they needed, was it a 4?
I think it was a 4.
Okay. Well, maybe to win, and so Greg Chappell told Trevor to bowl it underarm so that they couldn't hit a 6. But
do you remember the guy who received the ball or not?
Yeah, Brian McKechnie.
Yeah, cool.
Brian McKechnie became an All Black, like in
rugby.
Yeah, he represented New Zealand in rugby.
He was that angry. He was just like,
he's like, what he did? Did you see what he like threw the bat down?
No, he blocked the ball.
It through the bat.
Yeah.
Well, later on they were like, man, he should have like kicked it up with his foot and then smacked it for a 6, because that would have still been legit.
Yeah. You'd have to be pretty skillful. But that brings me to my next question.
Australian.
So skate cricket, maybe you needed an underarm to get past what was your average in skate cricket?
Is this the annual game that happens?
Yeah. I used to organise this goofy versus natural skate cricket. Like Nick Kildare, Gourlay was there, like Dean, lots of us. Mike Martin's really good at cricket, by the way.
Yeah.
And
but let's talk about you at cricket.
So I still practice a lot, but I'm going to say that was the time I was drinking. That's why.
Yeah.
But my innings,
was 3 balls.
6 innings, 5 runs, I think, with like 4 consecutive ducks. Like, that was my batting average.
And
did you bowl?
No, never. He was on my team most of the time, but he would get himself so worked up. And then I remember I was batting with him when he got a single, and he was so happy. He was like a giddy child. He hit it and ran.
It was rapturous. Yeah. When I hit that single, man, everyone was so happy for me.
I don't reckon if you did a 540, I reckon you'd be more happy that you made that run in cricket than a 540 right now.
Like when Hawke did the 900.
Yeah, it was like almost.
No, well, because we're trying to contain the cricket pitch. But yeah, Junior, I think that's been my highlight. I've never seen Junior ever happier than that.
Yeah, for sure. I've retired like that too, man. So I haven't really played cricket since then. I'm good to leave it at that.
I reckon we need to get that shit happening again. You know, like there's enough.
Me along.
Go out
I love to play
on a high note, man.
On a high, what do you get? 6 runs?
3, I think.
I'm just going to go out. Top scorer of 3 runs. Yeah, that's all right.
And on the Good Samaritan note, we talked of when you helped get my friend in the car, but there was another incident where you actually helped a couple of people who were getting bashed up in the city, and tell us more about the story. How'd that all occur?
Yeah, that was around 2004, I think. I was in the city at the Almost Skateboards premiere for round 3.
Yeah.
Round 3. And it was at the Acme Theatre in Federation Square.
Yep.
After that, I was walking up Swanson Street. Probably would have been around 9 o'clock. And it's summer too, so there was a lot of people out. But I was on the side of Swanston, the corner of Swanston and Burke. I was on the side next to the statues, the goofy looking statues. Across the street, man, like I saw, in my mind there were 7 dudes, and there were 2 guys on the ground. There was the planter box there, and these dudes like kicking the fuck out of these guys. They were out, and their heads were just getting ragdolled into they were kicking them and not relenting, man. And no one was intervening at all. And I just saw that, and I bolted without thinking, just ran in.
Did you have your skateboard?
No, I didn't. I didn't take the skateboard to the premiere, but no, man, I just went in swinging, dude, and like I connected with a couple of them. There was a Greek guy who was behind me, who saw me running, who came up behind me too. And so I guess once I came in, like the others kind of dispersed, and I grabbed a couple of them as well, and so got a couple in, and the Greek guy went off after the rest of the gang. And I eventually, tried to, once they all sort of split, like I tried to help the 2 dudes up. And there was 2 white guys, and one of them got up, and he'd had like a knife wound from here up to there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
So he'd been knifed as well as.
And the other guy got up, and he had like this top on, this shiny top on it, and like he'd been stabbed in the chest, and he had blood coming out of his chest, and
so it's full on.
Heavy. And I said to the dudes, like, man, like, you guys okay? Like, I've done first aid. Like, do you want help? And they were like, no, we're good, we're fine, we're okay. So, you sure, man? Like, yeah, like, we're okay. And then they just turned around and walked off. And it's like, all right. And actually, I was super revved up, man, because like there was probably, like I said, about 100 people, and no one fucking did it. And I was yelling at them, man, like, you motherfuckers are prepared to watch people die in front of you. To fuck you guys, man. Like, I was so angry. And
well, these days they're just filming on their phones, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So look, I went home, and then the next day, look, I went into work, and I told my colleague.
So there's no cops or anything?
No, it's called train home, dude. Train home, and then
those dudes just bailed out, and you don't know if they died or not.
I know exactly what happened afterwards, because I went to work the next day, and I told my mate what had happened, and he was like, man, reading the front page of The Age, he's like, he was like, man, the police, and it was on the forums as well, like, I think the police want to have a word with you, man. And in the Age, it said like, stabbing in the city, 2 guys in intensive care at the hospital, fighting for their lives. Police want to speak with a man of Aboriginal appearance who came to their aid, which is rad. And so I gave the police a call, and look, they got me in, and when the cops said to me too, like, if you hadn't intervened, they would have died for sure. And
they would have kept kicking them to
like my partner Cara at the time, her friend was working in A&E at, I think it was St. Vinny's, but looking after the guys, and was like, yeah, these dudes are fighting for their life, and ICU, like...
The ones that walked away.
Stab wounds.
Well, the cop told me that they followed the blood trail. They walked up to a telephone booth. Both of them collapsed, loss of blood, and the ambulance took them away. But
wow.
Yeah, like that was heavy.
Right.
Later on, like I met a girl called Mal, and she told me a story about her brother who did something similar, and he went to the aid of someone who was being attacked, and he got stabbed and
it's
killed.
a tough one to make. It's a tough one, man.
Yeah, like, you know, where do you draw the line? Like, I didn't know that they had knives. I didn't know they had knives. Like,
no, and instinct just took over at the time, didn't it?
It's just a New Zealand thing, man. I grew up fighting, you know. I don't really have that in me these days, but like when you see 2 people who are about to get killed, like, you're fucking going for it, man. Like,
And you actually did have a pretty nasty fight back in New Zealand, and that affected your music.
Yeah, like that scar there. Okay, Selena at the time, like, we were out, and she was on the other side of the road. It was, and I saw this guy. He had her by the head and was like punching her in the head. It was this.
Someone was punching Selena.
Skinhead guy, like like it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know, I think he may have been drunk. I don't know, but mistaken identity. I'm not sure what was happening there, but I bolted across the road, and fucking flew and hit this guy, and we both went flying through a shop front window, and he pulled me in, and I fell onto the broken glass and like split my whole muscle through there, like through the shop front, and severed like all the arteries and tendons in my arm here as well. Like, I was lucky to keep my hand. Like, I had like one of the best surgeons who happened to be in Palmy at the time, do 6 hours of microsurgery to make me keep my hand, to allow me to keep my hand, and so I walked around like that for
no, you didn't go skating, did you?
For a year, like, and I still have nerve damage. I can't feel in these 2 fingers. But up until then, man, like, I was playing guitar 13 hours a day. Like, and I was completely obsessed and shredding. Like, we play a lot of Steve.
So you stopped skating. So you stopped skating through that time.
This is during the time when I stopped skating. I was into guitaring, but
because you're just Lee Ralph's words just rang true to you the whole time. Oh, not another lip rinse. You're like, I'm not skating until this wrist is fixed. Or like.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I fell into a pretty deep depression because I lost my love, which was, you know, playing guitar. But it's bounced back a bit. I still have no nerves, but it's still jangle about on the guitar now.
Yeah, you still play really good guitar, like I've heard you before.
Pretty heavy shit in your life. You've been through some gnarly stuff. What else has happened? We talked a little bit earlier, touched on some of the addiction type of issues and the downs and troubles that's created for you, but there's probably more in there that we haven't touched on. Is there some stuff you want to share as well?
Yeah. Look, like I was saying, man, like around 2007 was the time, and I loved drinking, and I really bought into the whole piss drunks thing.
You partied with all those guys, Dustin and Ali and all those guys.
For sure. Look, man, there was a time like Dustin, when he'd come to town, like he'd send me a message, like, you know, anybody up to, let's party, and Ali was living with Amanda too, so I'd met Ali in Marseille and times before then too, so. And they loved to drink, and they were the best at it. And so, like, I'd go drinking with them, and that just continued onwards. And actually, Dustin, he took me to some rad places too. Like, he was going out with this girl, Shelley, And I remember he sent me this text message. It was like, Junior, man, we'll come to this party tonight. It's Vaucluse, private, it's in a mansion and private beach and shit. I'm like, man, 6 I got there. And it was, this place was incredible, dude. And there was a skater from Sydney there, and he pointed at one of the paintings in the lounge, and he's like, see that painting there? And I'm like, it was like 3 of them. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I did my year 12 study on that painting.
Oh my God.
That's The Spanish Kitchen by John Olsen. It's worth $4 million. And I'm like, wow, man, how are we here? But so I still love hanging out with those guys. Like, Dustin, Ali, they're really just magnetic personalities, man. Yeah. Ali's sober now. I don't know if you've seen his Epically Lated. Yeah. Yeah, because they went on to that tragedy he killed Shane crashed, and Ali was the same thing. Like, he was right in the mix, drinking hard, and he's sober now, and it's really, really good to see that.
It's interesting, isn't it, how he talks about how he thought drinking and smoking helped his skating, but now he's going, well, it doesn't. It's
when
so
you
obvious.
stop, you realise
how important it didn't help at all. And
but I can see what he means, because like in my drinking days when I was morning drinking, I'm waking up, man, and I'm shaking like that, right? And I feel I'm drinking every day, and if by the 4th day when my body's so poisoned, I'm just vomiting for a day. And then once I've got that out, like I'm back into it. And so you go from this waking up, drink to about maybe 6 drinks, and then you're just good. And you can stand on your skateboard and you can deal with life, you can have conversations, and then then that's a cycle that you get.
Similar to other addictions as well,
So like going from that to being sober and going through rehab, like how did you find like skateboarding was obviously very important through that time for you, wasn't it? Like
skating, hanging out with skateboarders was important to me for sure.
Yeah.
Was that a double-edged sword though? Because that party nature and the guys you were with were right into that?
Yeah, when it got at its worst, I started to isolate quite a lot. Like I was in a deep depression, man. Like one that I probably didn't think I was going to come out of. Like my internal dialogue was so poisonous that every day I was wanting to kill myself, and that's all I kept thinking. And like I said, you just feel so low, and you get wasted, and you do things that you're not proud of, and you're talking shit, you're manipulating people. It's addict behaviour, and so none of it's making you proud at all. There was a low point there. Like I went to train tracks it was early morning, and I just remember being wasted, and it's like, fuck this, man, I'm a wreck, I'm a mess, like I'm just no good to anyone, like, and I wanted to die. And so that's them doing it. And so I went down to the train tracks by Paran Station, and I remember laying down on the tracks and just staring at the fucking stars and being like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And it wasn't a moment of clarity. I just remember laying on them, and then I can't remember how long I was there because I was smashed, but I just remember getting up and being like, fuck, like I've got to do something here. Like I just don't know what. Like I just didn't know what.
Had you already tried any rehab at that point? Or was
No. I saw on TV, like there was a person who had gone to Windana. It's a rehab, and I was with Cara at the time, and she was so supportive. And this is at a time when everyone else had dropped away. I was such a fucking pile, dude. But there were 2 people that stuck by me, man. And like Cara was one of them, and Renton was the other. Renton would call me all the time and be like, he was the one who hooked up the DJ gigs, just wanted to keep me active because he knew I was isolating. And he'd be like at me, man, like, Junior, you have to learn to hate drinking, man. Like, you got to need, and so like I'm always so thankful for him for being there like that, for having that type of tenacity to keep fucking trying to help me out when I can always lost, man. And so I rang up Windana, and it took ages. I did 10 detoxes where you go into the rehab, stay there for 7 days, completely sober, and you're doing therapies like yoga and music therapy and all of these things. But then I'd come out and I'd be like, cool, I quit drinking. I've got it in me. I can do it whenever I like. I'm good to just drink weekends. Boom, straight back into full-blown alcoholism again. Do it again. I'm talking 10 times I did that.
That's a cycle, and it's not, like you got through it, and it's, and I see that a lot with people that happens, and, like you came out really well from it type thing, so, but...
Yeah, but at the time, I'm sure that wouldn't have been the view that you had, was it? You wouldn't have seen, like, now what you're achieving. You wouldn't have seen that back then.
No way. Like I said, I had a misguided view of what successful life was supposed to be. you know, money, or like having sex with as many women as you can, and like I said, gold chains, cars. Like, wow, that could be the perfect life. But that's, to me, I feel like that. You know, it took me a while to learn that. Don't even aspire for that shit. Like the way I'm living now, I fucking could not have wished for anything better. You know, but yeah, like I said, there was a point in time when I was laying on the train tracks, and that was when I knew, like, I couldn't keep doing rehab again and again and again. Like, I need to have a go at this one more time, otherwise I'll be fucking dead next time.
Okay. And because you did that 10 times,
I did,
or even more than that?
I did small rehabs 10 times, and then I did a 4-month live-in rehab at the Basin. Completed that, drinking as soon as I got out.
Yeah.
You know, and then.
What compelled you after the long stint to get straight back to it?
That's the whole thing that addicts think that you're in control now. You've got, you know, you're in control. You've got the ability to quit, and it's drinking, dude. Like, it's everywhere. So you know, like, it's like, man, time to celebrate. Let's drink. You feel sad. Let's drink. You know,
yeah, it's a hot day. Drink.
Yeah, and it's part of the Aussie culture, and skateboarding's massive too.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'd salivate at the thought of drinking. So that I was like fucking Pavlov's dog with drinking. So. Took a lot of a lot of change, a lot of searching for me. When I went back into rehab, I knew, like, if I fucking touch drinking again, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm dead. And then like I said, in there I just started to think, like, man, I can play guitar, I can skate. I'm not a fucking absolute arsehole to people, you know. Yeah. I've got good things to offer the world.
You still got good friends through skateboarding that can help you out. And Renton obviously was a big influence on keeping you, like, kind of leveled, and that's what you probably needed, is someone to talk to a lot, you know, like, so. Yeah,
well, look, for somebody like Renton too, you know, he's a former world #1 skater, was world famous guy. He doesn't need a fucking drop kick like me in his life, you know, but
he cares about it,
he's stuck there, dude, and that meant a lot to me, and he gave me that board up there, and it means a lot to me, actually, written on the other side of it. He's written on there.
He signed it?
He signed it, but he's also written, like, to Junior, thanks for being such a great mate. Yeah. And that would not have happened if I had continued on the path I was on, you know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like, I graduated rehab, moved to Croydon in a drug and alcohol rehabilitation home. Started skating Croydon skate park heaps, and that was when I was like back in. I had the fire, man, and that was like just back into focusing. And that's why those things there mean a lot to me, because skating was done for me. I was over. Yeah. I was alcoholic, and I was going to be dead.
Took over in terms of the main love and passion in your life, and then drinking took that away almost. You know?
Yeah, and I also realised, like, I've got a lot of people in my life that love and care for me, man. Like, you know, people like you. Yeah. You know, you were always there for me, and people like Darren Cardamone, Stacey Gray and his family. Like, they sent me all paintings in rehab, being like, you know, we love you, Uncle Junior, and all of that. I was like, man. Because when you're in depression and when you're wanting to kill yourself, you're actually thinking that you're doing everybody else a favour. Like, you're not thinking about the effects on them. You're thinking, like, I just don't want to be a burden on them anymore.
Yeah.
When you see that stuff, you're like, fuck, I mean something, you know?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to come back out, and I had the fire. I enrolled in a diploma of music composition course, and I passed that. And
were you working at this point?
Yeah, like, I got a job with the ATO at tech support, and you know, and just to be back into working and you know, earning money and being independent.
Bit of a, you know, like,
slowly started to build myself, and just putting out positivity, and then the visa ad happened, and you know, like, just things steamrolled, and no, my life's good.
People looking out for you, and you know, and stuff happens.
If somebody met you now, they would not understand all of that stuff that's gone in the past, because you are positive and motivated now, and people see that now, and you know, the way you interact with your son and your music and everything, and your skating, and it's like, wow, this dude's cool, you know, he's got it happening.
Yeah.
But there's so much behind it that generated to become what you are now.
Yeah, look, I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to come on this, is I just feel a bit of a responsibility, like, people who might be in the same situation that I was in, especially a lot of, you know, Maori, back home, the alcohol was a huge thing in Maori culture. It fucking ruins families, and, you know, domestic violence and all the rest of it, man. And you know, any Indigenous cultures, you see, they actually fuck everyone. What am I saying? But there may be people at home who are in a similar situation and who can't see that there is another way to live your life. You see me cutting another path and being like, fuck, I might be able to do that too. So that's really why I kind of wanted to come on and just tell you how things have come out for me.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's different, but it's great to see, and people can draw some inspiration from that and motivation to make their changes, take their steps that they need to do to, defeat their demons, whatever it is that they're dealing with. And I think we're going to put up on the screen later on at the end of the interview some details that people can contact if they're in those sorts of situations.
Beyond Blue, yeah.
Beyond Blue and so forth. But we've also, I mean, Junior, you've had lots of people contact you because you've had this story shared through Slam Magazine.
Yeah.
And so people have already contacted you or speak to you at the skate park about it and say, hey, I've got similar issues, and it's great to be able to see the other side of it now where you're helping others deal with the sort of things like that.
Yeah, man. Like I didn't realise. Like once Slam published the article, it was 2015, I think. I started to get messages on Facebook from random people, saying to me, like, man, I'm having these problems with alcohol. What should I do? And I let them know, like, I don't know what will fix you, but this is what worked for me, and just tell them my story. And to this day, like, I'm still getting these messages, and I absolutely love them. Like, I feel like, it's a duty of mine to help people who are in a similar situation to know and see that there's a better way and there's a way out of it.
And you do it in such a humble way too. Like, you've never had a go at, like, you hang out with us when we're drinking and doing that stuff, and you've never been like, like it's like a reformed smoker. They tell everyone that they're not smoking anymore, or you know what I mean, like, or a vegetarian, like, or a vegan, for instance. Like,
I am vegetarian.
But you never tell people, like. No. So there you go. So you got two
Quirk
things.
Mentioned it last time that he was vegan.
Yeah, he's vegan. Oh man, respect, dude. Respect for that.
Respect. And
it's the same. Yeah,
but, you're not forcing it on people and not saying, hey, you shouldn't drink. Like, you're fucking up. You shouldn't drink. But you're always like, hey, if you want to talk to someone, and that's what people need, and that's probably what you needed. And I think Renton's got a lot of kudos from me, and like I've learnt so much from this interview, like listening to your story and like reading the stuff that you'd said. Like, it was like, I've probably had these discussions with you when we've been out on the terps and stuff like that, but not because you're such a, you don't really take it all in, but it's really, like it makes me feel humbled to know you, and like you've always been a really good friend in skating and stuff, and as a person. So
yeah, thanks for saying. You've been through something similar, you and I, man, we were rat bags, dude, back in the holy shit.
He didn't mention any of that in
really.
His interview,
oh my
so
god,
don't drag him
this
down
guy
now.
here, like, it was similar thing, man. We love to party.
Yeah.
And
now,
a lot of guys
now
do.
we're family men,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
and I'd read that interview in Slam, and I think also one of the reasons I wanted to get you on wasn't just because of that, but I thought I knew how motivated and passionate you are now, and I thought, it's such a great thing to be able to share to people and say, hey, there's some low times, but there are ahead of you if you stick, work through this. There are things that are going to pan out, and you're a great example of that. And being able to describe it verbally and visually in this sort of format, I think is fantastic, because reading it in the magazine, there's a little bit of a disconnect on the emotion, and I think that's something that today we've been able to express a bit better. So really appreciate that you've been so, first of all, coming on board and getting here today, but being so open and honest about such a tough topic, but I think it's so valuable. So well done. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, like I said, man, thanks for having me along. Like I didn't know life could be this good, man. Like, I went to the skate park this morning with my son, 7:30 a.m., skated around with him, and my heart's just bursting with joy, dude. Yeah.
So rad. Junior, mate, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Yeah.
I've been
thanks, Steve.
Yeah, really grateful that you came in and joined us today and shared so honestly all of this sort of stuff. It's a story that's got so many ups and downs and craziness, but like I said, man, the way where you're at right now, it's motivating. And even for someone like me that didn't have to deal with those sorts of things, I still get motivated from people like you where you're at right now, not because of what you went through, but just the person you are now. So keep at it, keep smiling, keep skating, and 44 for 44 next year, I'm going to join you. I'm going to get a few extra tricks on board, but we'll try.
Let's start filming now.
Yeah, I'll need it. Yeah. That's how long I take to warm up. You got me.
I'm rad. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, it's rad. Thanks for letting me or asking me to be part of this panel.
Really,
because
I was stoked when he put your name down as his guest. So,
because Junior, you're definitely a positive influence to my skateboarding, and like whenever I think about having a dream session or anything like that, it'd be with you, Kildare and Renton and people like that. But yeah, you're always like down for a role, and you're a lifer in my books, you know. So
thanks for saying. Just quickly, because you mentioned Nick Kildare.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah. I just want to show this because I did bring this along.
So, you mentioned earlier about sitting in front of Lee Ralph, awestruck, not really, you know, knowing how to communicate with him. But Nick, you're a bit different. You were
forgot about that story.
You were straight in, weren't you?
Yeah. Look, I think this is a story worth telling because Nick Kildare was I knew him before I moved to Australia. Australian Vacation, 411 Australian Vacation, man. I watched that religiously, and I love the music. I love the skaters in it. Moses Itkin, Alan Pedersen just destroying. Yeah. But there was a segment there in that 411 of Nick Kildare at Fitzroy Bowl. Does the 360 over the fence, which is still who else is going to even fuck with that? Like, and so when I first got to Australia, I was at Fitzy Bowl, and he rocked up with his girlfriend Cal, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Nick Kildare from 411. And like I got him to sign like this, if you can see. I still have it, Nick. Yeah. I got him to sign it.
It's a little skate park book. There you go.
Junior, Nick
you can get it up on the close-up.
It's still a bit blurry there, but yeah, 2 junior, Nick Kildare. Yeah, Keep Skating or something, Nick Kildare. And
Street Kildare.
We ended up becoming, you know, great friends, and he's one of my best friends, absolute champion dude. But
such a versatile skater and everything as well.
Yeah, I would love to see him on the show one day.
Anyone else though, maybe? Like,
have we got a nomination for a pass on?
Yeah, for sure. Scott Gibson.
Scott Gibson.
I would love to see Scott Gibson on the show, man. If anyone has ever bounced back, it's that guy, dude. Even from being on the dole to sending an email out, and he's travelling around the world on the Warp Tour. Like, he's hilarious.
Let's get on to Scotty and organise that.
10 lives.
Gibbo. Yeah, and he's living a new one. He's reborn right now.
Been in a lot of the industry side of it as well. So yeah. Is there anything else you want to add? Any stories you wanted to touch on that we haven't mentioned?
Look, no, none at all, man. I just living my life, dude, and enjoying it. You know, like I said, I never knew life could be this good.
Awesome.
Give a shout out. Maybe you haven't mentioned Hemi, but I mean, he's a big part of your life right now.
For sure. I would love to. Big shout out to my son Hemi, to my partner Zena as well. Like, it'll be a year that we've been together next month, and her son Arthur, I've been teaching to skate as well. So Arthur and I have been skating together 2 or 3 times a week, and he's into it, man. He's a skate rat like me, so he's ripping. Just
because I see Hemi comes to some of our family, you know, like gatherings and stuff, and I think Hemi's a year younger than Seb, but he's like 5 times as big as him. So I'm just
right. He's got the genes.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping that they'll go to the same school, you know, so that then Hemi will be down.
He's a beautiful soul, man. He's you know, between me and his mum Jess, like, he's just brought up in an environment of love, dude, and you see it when he's interacting with other kids too. Yeah, and I think that's important, isn't it? You know, like you've lived a life where, you know, like you got that love that you probably didn't get eventually, like at the start, but you know how important it is bringing up a child, isn't it, to give that love early on in life. It's everything, man. Yeah. So and you're going to do a great job, mate. You're a rad father, and I hope that our kids will keep skating for the rest of our lives. And that'll keep us connected. It's like, no, you're friends with Seb, you know, you're friends with Heavy, you know, like, that'll be rad. So absolutely, I can't wait. Yeah, good stuff. Awesome.
So a couple of quick things to sign off. Once again, thank you to our supporters at Gage Road Breweries with the single fin beer. We also love our supporters from Fundraiser. Oh no, not my shoe. That's my favourite shoe. It's not a drink holder.
That's not a Reynolds, mate. So don't worry about that. So
Fundraiser. Get onto fundraiser / whatever their side and help support us there. Once again, thanks very much, Junior. Thanks very much, Will. It's been a fantastic and absolutely insightful day today. I don't know whether I want to go skating like I normally do after this, or I want to go and share this story. So, yeah.
situation going on here.
Yeah, about to get mean, so you better move your accordingly. Yeah, about to get mean, so you better think clean. Must not take so long, it moves along and have the songs. Yeah, about to get mean, so you better move your quick. Better move, check, check. Come on, check. Better move, better move. Start filling up with steam. We're about to get mean, so you better think clean. Must not take so long. It moves along and on the songs. Yeah, about to get mean, so you better move. Better move, check, check. Come on, check. Better move, better move.
Here we are. He's going to say hi to everyone back home.
How we doing, everybody? We're about to go and skate the mini ramp. It's a little ghetto video premiere. We're going to run a little heavy metal parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get a little update as we progress this evening.
Man, you got to give a message to Lee.
Oh, Lee. Much love, brother. Much love. All this, look at Lee. Representation, of course.
Yeah.
This right here, Lee and Tons, of course.
Change the song. Hey, Alex, nice song.
Not all of it, just that.
Oh my God, you're gonna. All right, do what you will. Do what you will.
Not bad, a little tough. Oh!
That's a good shot.
I mean, it's American, but man, this shit started back in the day. Like, way back in the day, with like, I don't even know, man, like people, the rich people, they had such huge dinner tables that they would slide their coins, their gold coins, their silver coins, across the table. And then the next one would try to slide it across and knock it off, you know, so it came out and it was like, it became shuffleboard. It became American shuffleboard.
How's your bro like sitting up my board? What's your crew called then?
We're just the South Bay Boys.
This is that bowl jam? Big time.
This is all Kevin Anderson.
Kevin Anderson. Right there.
Yeah, let's see that is. Marina Del Rey, did you ever go there?
Well, that place had no vert. I like Paramount.
Paramount
was a 16-foot bowl with 9 feet of vertical.
What about
all concrete? Geez. No. Oh yeah.
Where do you go skating these days?
Baldy.
Really?
Yep, and the pipeline park, the free park.
The new park?
Yeah.
I've got to check it out.
300,000 people, the largest group of onlookers ever for skateboarding exhibition. This is the California Jam 2.
And that's you?
It covered acres and acres and acres of people. Yeah.
We'll see how we go on this downhill. Yeah, we've got Beer, we've got Al, we've got Bob.
Yes, I.
Yeah, no. Don't be afraid of the wolfman. Rastaman liver. Indian man don't give up. We're set for a session.
Yeah,
JJ. What's going on?
Ready drinking?
Hey, wait a second. Fucking shaka fucka.
Shaka fucka, bro. Ready to roll?
How we living? How we living?
How's things?
Woo!
This park is not so fucking shame, isn't it?
It's like one of the better, probably best. Yeah.
Body jar. Like, yeah.
Alright then, let's see it.
We need to wait for King Diamond to shut our kid rules, dude. I say King Diamond, he's like, oh! That guy rules!
It's a line right there. Go away.
Rip that.
Thank you. Sorry, mate.
Shake it, shake it.
I'm alright. What's your name?
I don't know, Ben.
Your name is?
You don't know?
What's yours?
My name is Zanuck.
Zanuck.
Zanuck Pitanga.
Zanuck Pitanga. Where are you from, man?
Actually from the Philippines is where my family came from, but I was born in Chicago.
Alright.
Chicago?
Chicago.
Right.
Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Alright, let's see the catamaran.
Okay.
Okay,
You gotta
now
sit on the
you're gonna
board.
go there. You're gonna put yours there.
There you go.
That's the one. That's
He's feeling it.
Just do this. No, don't worry. It's not gay or nothing. You know.
Kind of looks good.
It kind of looks gay, but
Don't
it's
worry about
fun,
it.
man. No, here. Put yours on the outside because you're bigger. There you go.
You hold hands.
Hold hands.
Oh my God.
It's a teamwork. It
This is a
requires
team effort.
cooperation.
So okay,
and
like when you're gonna
communication.
turn, see, you're gonna be the turning dude.
This?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you guys are gonna probably turn to the right.
Oh,
You know, so you're gonna lean
I
back
have
and
a
pull
space.
him.
Legs.
Nope.
Legs. Legs.
All right, you got it. Just get your legs where you're kind of comfortable. Lock arms like that. Yeah, like this. Here, just grab each other's. Yeah, there you go.
All right, and off you go. Don't look at me.
Pull.
You gotta lean and turn.
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna go over there.
Okay, wait.
Oh yeah, you should.
Right
Where'd you know it?
I
about
already went.
You did?
Wait.
Do you like it? Where'd you
Yeah,
learn?
it's not the first time.
How long have you been skating?
3 months.
3 months.
I could already drop in.
How do you
Do you skateboard? Is that a real tattoo?
Okay, stand on it. Tell me if you feel it.
He's got a flat head.
So flat.
In the city of Compton, keep it rockin', keep it rockin'. Right now we're heading to San Diego. We're about to pick up our girl.
Day.
Is that the way you say hello?
Is that how you say hello? Mike, how's it going?
What's going on, bro?
How we doing?
Word.
What up?
So you met my brother Mike.
What up?
We're filming the pickups.
We're filming the pickup.
Let's go. About freaking time.
Have you got our CDs or what?
Oh yeah, it's in my backpack. It's gonna be freaking
Hellhammer.
like apocalyptic war metal.
Word, man, we're at Matt Mumford's house here. Check it out. This is the mum's pad here. Want to say cool what's up to Melbourne?
Hello, Melbourne, from Dallas, Texas. What's up?
That's the shiznit.
I've been doing that trick all the time. Like,
yeah, you're right, you can land
I just head trick. I slammed really hard the other day on it, man. Right to the top.
I caught when I'm still going up almost. Yeah, dude, that was so rad.
Yeah.
Good job, Crumb.
Word.
You gonna stand here next couple?
Ben, man.
What's up, Ben? We miss you, buddy. How you been? Ben? Take a picture like this. Like holding the fucking up. None of this.
Is that why they do this?
Stomping grounds.
Yeah, well, because I live in.
So you're not like that.
The suspense on. Yo!
I got one going too.
What the hell?
Fucking backflip off this fucking cunt.
This is the kickflip to board as well.
Yeah, kickflip to board. Fucking backside
Wait, and
lip.
didn't that chick Mimi freaking like 5-0 it or something on the?
Maybe.
She's gnarly. So if you saw her skate, Junior,
Maybe.
you probably like ask her to just drop to your knees and ask her to marry you.
Dude, hey, motherfucking.
She's sick.
Jake did in the new magazine, fucking backsmith shove it off this thing.
That's right, that's right.
Fucking backsmith to shove it out.
Catch you later, Crumb.
Later.
See you guys.
Right on the
I would need it.
on the hip. I swear to God. Or was that? I'm not sure.
Two more, like any time between now and like 3 weeks, you know.
Do you know what you're going to have?
Nah, we're gonna wait.
You're not going to find out?
Nah, we're gonna wait until the big moment, like leave it the first, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, cool, I hope to see you cats around, man.
Yeah,
sure, take it easy, bud.
You missed it, that dude just puked.
No way.
That fucking guy.
Drive it, yeah?
I think I'm gonna marry him.
This is San Diego. Yeah, oh man, this place is off the chain. Cranking.
Military party job.
You don't know about Americans and big fucking cars. What's going on, yo? How's it? Look at that thing. How's it?
This is my buddy Junior, man. He's from Melbourne.
How's things, bro?
Alright. Matt, Darren.
Hold on a second, hold on 1 second.
Where can we park at?
In the bay.
The bay?
Yeah, you know what I'm
Oh, fuck.
Alright.
Do it.
Alright.
Once it gets to here, Al, I'm just gonna cut it.
Word dudes, what's up? Say hello to Australia.
What up, Australia? How are you? America is here.
Welcome to San Diego.
Before the July.
Man, bro. Yeah. I'm on the Bobby.
Chug it, bro.
Everybody
here
that way. Yeah.
Abs.
Alright, this is my house. It's probably dark in here. It's cool. We got these boards on the wall. They're cool. Yeah, we got a Losi here. Losi's been to Australia and New Zealand. I think he was first American.
Absolutely. Which is your favorite?
Philip.
Wait, what are we looking at?
I'm gonna show him. No, I'm gonna show Al a new creature from him, man. No, saying it.
Word.
Horn dog.
Man, check it.
Who the fuck is Hit's name on there? See, his name was in Thrasher?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking brutality.
Like you're stiff. We might have to disown you.
I'm with it. Start clean back up in this bitch. Got another flow for you though. And I got my single for sale too, going for $5. Look. But check it out though. Now when I hit them with the lyrical flow, they really wanna know. Can I hit them up fast? Can I hit them up slow? But I gotta let them know I'm a lyrical ghost. From city to city, from coast to coast. And the cherry Cadillac is the way I wanna roll. Pulling up to the mall, slamming Cadillac doors. Pretty afro with some afro sheen. With the brand new clothes and the crease in my jeans. Know what I'm talking about? Start clean right at.
And we are at the Hollywood Hills, about to head up to the guys. What is that guy's name?
Greg Sanders.
Greg Sanders.
His name's Eric Samanza.
Eric Samanza from CSI. So here we go.
How we fucking living? Right now we're over here in Sherman Oaks, and we're over at my homie's house, Eric Zamanda. He plays Greg Sanders on CSI. I don't watch TV, so I don't really know what that means, but apparently the motherfucker is balling out of control. If you fucking would check this fucking spread, man.
Let's do it.
This guy's a fucking badass motherfucker, and he's cool as fuck. Milwaukee, Midwest represent. What? This man. Jeez, watch your step there.
I saw it.